So I guess I'll kind of explain like the basics of Fate or what we're playing, Fate Accelerated. So it's different than Fate Core. Um, yeah, and then we can try to make some characters, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So the way Fate flows is kind of is very different than D&D. In Fate, the game is like if you notice how D&D works, it's a role playing game, but D&D has, or fifth edition, or all D&D, all Roll20 systems have like heavy mechanics involved with them, right? Like if you look at a character sheet, or if you look at like a class of D&D, like almost all their abilities, like 99.9% of all the abilities, all deal with combat, right? It says combat, 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 right? But then they're like, it's a role playing game. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why do I have all these combat stuff? It's a role playing game. Shouldn't combat be a bigger part of the game? It's like, well, no, it's to be a role playing game, but mechanically we gave you combat stuff. So Fate kind of allows us to make mechanics fit kind of the game we're playing to have a better role playing game. So in this game, you're as cool as you make your character. You don't get to read off a book and be like, how do I make my class? What's my best abilities? Blah blah blah. How cool can I be? It's more of whatever you make, right? If you make a shitty character or a boring character, then your character's shitty and boring, and it's no one's fault but your own, right? If you make a bad story for your character, or if you make a bad whatever, then your character's boring, your fault again, right? So the idea is to try to make a good character, and in D&D, you're responsible for your character, right? You're responsible for you playing your character properly. In Fate, that's not your responsibility. In Fate, it's everyone's responsibility to tell a good story. So you want to have like a concept for your character, but you don't want it to be super set in stone all the time. Because if in D&D it's like, okay, my character would do X, I'm going to do X. I don't care if it ruins everyone else's character. I don't care if it ruins the story. I don't care if it ruins whatever. My character would do X, so I'm doing X, right? And it's up to the DM to know that the character would do X, to not put that in front of them, right? That you don't want to like say, okay, my character hates slavers and would do anything to free a slave because I hate slavery, right? And the DM says, you see walking down the road 100 slavers with 1,000,000 bodyguards. You're like, well, time for me to go die trying to rescue these slaves now, right? That's the DM's fault for killing off that character, and it's up to the player to actually charge in and die in that scene. But it's the DM's fault technically, right? And the DM should never do that. Well, in Fate, we're trying to tell a good story all the time. Like I know most people don't realize that in D&D, it's not the player versus the DM, but they still think it's the player versus DM, the DM versus player. In Fate, it's heavily not like that. Like if the DM kills off a character, the DM is fucking up in some kind of way. Like it's almost impossible for a character to die in Fate unless you want your character to die, and then you just let your character die, because there's a mechanics in place that says like, I give up, I don't die, and you just don't give up. Like you just don't die in that fight. Now, if you fight to the death, that's your fault again, right? It's always your fault, not anyone else's fault. So you get pretty much complete control of what happens to your character. Not only that, when I say like tell a good story, we actually actively tell the story together. Like the players can make up almost just as much stuff as a DM can in this game. Like I can make up NPCs, I can make up scenes and blah blah blah, like scenarios and stuff like that as a player, and the DM should play off me. Just like how the DM says like, there's like NPC in front of you. He's wearing armor. He looks like a guard, and he might have a quest for you, right? Something stupid like that, and you're like, oh, cool! Exclamation mark! I'm gonna go talk to him, right? You can be like, oh yeah, I know a guy over there. He used to work with me. He's whatever, and then like you go and talk to this guy in the corner, and you just make up the guy and the corner and the area and the NPC. And you have a conversation with yourself, kind of, and then you come back like, oh yeah, he told me that, blah 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 blah, right? And then you can just like start talking about stuff. I have a good like a little scenario that I've done before where it's like, you can be like sent to a slummy part of town to talk to an NPC, and while you're there, your character might be like, "Oh, I know this place. I used to live around here. I used to do work around here." Right? You just make up something like that, and he goes like, "All right, over there, I used to work with those guys." Like, "Oh, is that Blotto? Oh, I know Blotto. Let me go talk to Blotto real fast." And like you wander off to go talk to him, right? And like you walk over there and you talk to him like, "Hey, what's up?" And then like you like have a quiet conversation with him because like maybe the other players can hear him because they're away. And then you watch Blotto punch your character. You like say like, oh, Blotto punches my character in the face. I get up off the ground and run away and go, oh guys, I forgot the last time I was here, I screwed them over on a deal. They hate me. We need to run. They're probably gonna try to kill me. We should run, right? And he's like, yeah, Fat Tony did not like the way I did that last time, right? And like, you mentioned this stuff, right? We run away. But then the DM goes like, okay, guy named Blotto, guy named Fat Tony, cool, got it, right? And then like later, maybe you're at your base or something, and you're like, incoming call from Fat Tony. And you're like, oh shit, Fat Tony, right? And then the DM takes over from where you left off. And then the DM starts voicing Fat Tony, starts making stuff up, blah, 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 and goes like, oh yeah, I see you back in town again. It's like, yeah, sorry, Fat Tony, about like, screwing you over and all. And it's like, oh, no problem. I got a job for you. It's like, oh, what? Like, yeah, remember that thing you stole that didn't give back to me? It's like, yeah, I know. It's like, yeah. So instead of me killing you for that, you're gonna help me do this job now. And you're like, oh, okay, sure, why not? I don't want to die, so sure. Like, like, you made up a little two characters. The DM then took those two characters and made a story for it, or a little scene for it, right? Like, we worked together to make a good story. So, yeah, it's a little bit more complicated in D&D because you have more work than just following quest, following exclamation marks, interacting as your character, right? You can actually create a little bit more in the world. But it also means that it's less work for the DM, right? Like, the DM can take a little bit of a less forefrontal of, I have to make the entire story about everyone for everything.
Alright.
So that's kind of how the game flows. Now, mechanically, it's super easy. Like, it's super straightforward. Like, straightforward for Fate. Like, you have your stats if you haven't seen them. For characters, I don't know. Do you guys see your stats? Have you?
Yeah.
Viewed them?
Yeah. Like, are you talking about the careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, sneaky, and approaches?
Yep. Those are your stats. You get a standard array of 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, and you put them where you want. These things are what you think they are, right? Like, if you whenever you do something in the game and you feel that it's something, you say, hey, I feel this is this because of these reasons, right? And if we go like, well, that is that good, but I think they're more this, right? And we kind of decide when something happens what's the best. It's not like this is for ranged weapons and that's it, right? Like, there's no like really super set in stone thing, and we can kind of like, we have a lot of wiggle room with these things. So these things are basically the only thing you need. Like, there's no like skills and stuff as well, right? There's just these stats. Anything in the game is like connected to these stats. Everything that you do, right? So you have to kind of figure out what you want your character to be, and what you think your character's good at and bad at. So you use these stats to do a few different things, but the primary thing is on your turn, you basically get one action. And you can use that action to do something in the like a scene. It could be a did we lose someone? I don't know if we lost someone. Oh, it was Nick. Okay, it could be something in a scene. It could be something. The primary things is basically dealing damage or trying to help the group in some kind of way. So when you deal damage, let's say you say, I want to run and punch this guy in the face. You're like, okay, sure. You walk up, you punch the guy in the face, make a forceful roll, right? That seems very forceful. Punching someone seems very forceful. But you're like, well, no, I don't want to punch him really, really hard. I want to try to like do a couple of quick jabs, like a boxer or something. Like, okay, quick jabs. Sure, you can use quick instead, right? We try to figure out like what, like, you try to like think what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then you pick a stat to make it make the most sense, right? And when you do this, you roll 4 fate dice, and then you add your modifier, and then your opponent, whoever you're punching, gets to defend in some kind of way, right? He can say, I quickly jump out of the way, right? Like, and then he rolls his quick. And then basically you take your roll and their roll and you subtract the rolls, and whatever's left over, that's how much damage you deal to them, pretty much, right? That's like the quick, easy way of knowing. There's like other things to it, but that's like the basis of it, right? The other thing you can do is, instead of like hurt someone, is you can try to like build something in a scene, right? You can try to create something. Like, you can say like, okay, we're in an alleyway. Okay, I'm going to create a scene. So there's a gas line. I'm going to break the gas line, pull out my lighter, and light the gas line on fire to make an explosion and make the alleyway on fire, right? And the demon can be like, okay, yeah, that seems, you have the tools for that? Cool, you have the tools for that? Okay, that's going to be pretty easy. But you're going to need the forceful to break the pipe, right? So make a forceful roll. And then the DM will set a DC, and if you beat the DC, you create that scene. What that means is any of us can utilize that scene to get a bonus to a roll. that's like pertaining to that scene. Like I could be like, oh, I'm gonna punch the guy, but I'm gonna like jab him much times to the right, so he has to duck to the left. The fire's to the left, so he falls into the fire, and he has to jump out, and then when he jumps out, he jumps right into my fist, and then boom, I get him. So I get a +2 to the roll, right? So basically, there's two ways of doing things. Like as a base form is hurting someone or trying to give us a bonus of some sort in the scene. There's a few other things you can do, like overcome. Overcoming is basically a skill check. Like the DM is like, oh, I want to jump over this hole. It's like make an overcome roll of a forceful to jump over the hole forcefully or something like that, right? And there's ways to destroy scenes. Like if like you like someone like let's say the enemy did the fire thing, you'd be like, okay, cool. I go grab the fire hydrant, tie a hose to it, and I squirt the like water, and I put out the fire, right, or something like that, right? Like okay, cool, make a roll for that, and you get rid of the fire, cool, you eliminate the scene. So that's like the basics of the game. Like the game is like very basics of what you can do, but the reason why I do this is because they want it to be fair. Like no one is stronger than anyone else, no one is better than anyone else. Everyone is fair at this point, right? Everyone has the same stats. No one has better rolls than anyone. It's up to you to be smart enough to utilize your stuff to do cool shit, right? It's up to you to do cool shit in the game. Describe something cool, we decide what fits the best, and then you do it, right? Now if you're like, well, okay, cool, I have this big ass axe, can I twirl in a circle and hit everyone around me? No, you can't. You can hit one thing each turn with one damage roll. That's all you can do with the basic stuff. Like there is no like getting more out of being clever, right? It's everything's fair at this point. When it comes to stunts, that's when it becomes unfair. Stunts are random bullshit you make up, right? You make up a bunch of cool abilities, and if you're smarter than someone else and your abilities are cooler than theirs, then your abilities are cooler than theirs. That's their fault for not being, I guess, as clever to make up cool stuff, right? Like it's no one else's fault but your own if your character sucks. Which a lot of people like and a lot of people don't like, right? Because some people need the books to help them create cool things. But the idea is if we're playing a role-playing game and the whole point of the game is to be clever and creative, if you can't be clever and creative, then what's the point of doing the role-playing game to begin with, I guess? I don't know. So yeah, so we're doing superheroes, so the basic idea is to, make a superhero. Yeah, that's
Undead Knight. Does that count as a superhero? I'm an undead knight who plays the loot. Very
They could be a
aggressively.
vigilante. A superhero doesn't necessarily have to have powers. They just have to be someone who's helping people for the greater good. Trying to save people's
Okay,
lives.
so I'm gonna be a knight.
I mean, even Punisher, in a way, is a superhero. He's more of an anti-hero, but technically he is a superhero because he does the things he does to help people, however grievous. And
yeah, and I mean,
And not all super. Sorry,
go on.
I was
I was gonna say not all.
Let's go.
Not all superheroes have superpowers. For instance, Batman doesn't actually have superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I was gonna say like you're undead knight, and we're in the superpower game, so I mean that technically counts as powers, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Are you immortal?
Me?
Yeah.
The power of music makes me immortal. Yes.
Nice. Hunting.
Well, you were
hunting.
undead,
That's
so.
Are undead people immortal?
Who knows?
Turns out, the Lord has nothing against undead.
Dan, are you an android of sorts? You have like little balls floating around you and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking like she's gonna do stuff with probably gonna have cybernetics because the panels,
Do you want to connect characters for some reason? Because my character does everything about machines and stuff.
Probably.
Do you want to be like my greatest invention?
Zombies roam the streets of Jerusalem?
What?
Isaiah 26:19-20. Your dead shall live, their bodies shall rise. You who dwell in the dust, awake and sing for joy. For your dew is a dew of light, and the earth will give birth to the dead. Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until the fury has passed by.
What is this about?
I don't know, but apparently, all I read as a title. When zombies roam the streets of Jerusalem, then I read that.
I don't know how much time we have Sage for, so we should probably keep it all to like doing the character
No,
stuff.
we're all good. My boyfriend's doing schoolwork right now, so I have time.
Okay.
All right.
I know.
Well, anyways, what were you saying?
Should we work on character concepts first? Like what's going on with our characters, who we are, why we're here, what we can do, and everything, and then we start working on these afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
sure.
makes sense, right?
I will be here to offer world building.
Yeah.
So just ask any questions, my Ray, but you've got the general idea of the world, I think.
Yeah. So I think I have a gist of what I want to do for my character right now. So my character is like a what I call a technomancer. So she's this 13-year-old girl that's like a super genius that's just knows tech. She can speak to technology. They talks to her. She talks to it. Um, she can like touch it and like control it and stuff, and yeah, do all kinds of cool stuff with technology. And she's like a super genius in that kind of way. So I have it as one of her aspects is responsible for most of the world's technological breakthroughs in the last 5 years. So I figured because of the world the way it is, my character is probably the cause of why it is the way it is, like a utopia. They probably done some really good stuff for the world, but they don't care because they don't like humans. They like technology and they really dislike humans. They think like I guess like kind of like Agent Smith with the whole like humans are a plague or something like that, like the way they like do things. And technology should like I guess kind of be like the ruling force of some sorts. So yeah, that's why I was saying the whole
So does your
technology thing.
character worship technology in that sense?
No. They if anything they think they're like the they can control technology. So they can do everything with technology. So they think they're the god of technology, I guess you would say. And then their people should rule the world, I guess, or something like that. Because technology they can hear technology and like they're the only ones that can do this, right? That they can like look at a computer chip and a computer chip like hi, or like when let's say like humans watching TV and their batteries go dead in their remote and they start slapping their remote, like she'll hear the remote scream for pain or something like that because it's getting hit or something, and then she'll like shoot the guy that's hitting it and be like, it's okay, you're safe now, right? And, like things like that, right?
Okay.
So like and then I'd be like, oh thank you like like the remote can talk to her pretty much.
So in other words, it's not necessarily the as far as what my perception of it is what it sounds like is like I'm stumbling over everything. Sorry. She wants to like live with technology as if it was like as equal as actual like society.
Greater than equal. They wanted it because she thinks it's better than people because of all the stuff they can
Okay.
do. Humans can't do this, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, but she's also created things like teleporters and cloaking fields and like technology, like super advanced technology that doesn't exist. Like only she
Mm-hmm.
knows how to use it and create it and stuff like that. That's why I have those as are like her powers and stuff, like this technology stuff that they're called inventions. I have them listed as inventions.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I was talking to Sin up like I want to know about Sin with Sin's character because that's that's a big thing. Because I was thinking I was coming in here not liking any of you guys, but yeah, she'll want to talk and interact with you. That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
I'm not too sure um how much of it is going to be technology and how much of it is going to be human.
Okay.
Not sure yet, at least.
So do you want to do a thing where, um, I don't know, like maybe I knew you as a person and I made you better?
I will make you better.
Right, because that would make sense because if you're like some special android thing, does that mean could there be more of you like very easily? But if like I made you out of like something special, then like you're the only one, right?
True, yeah. That could work, yeah.
So like think over how you want to do this because I can think of different ways, but I don't want to just like do everything right. Just say like yeah we should do right. How do you feel about this? Think about it while we, I guess, talk about other characters.
I'm gonna do that quickly.
All right.
So, Sage, I guess since you're the when you got to talk with us, do you have any base concepts you're thinking about? Like, you ever want to be a superhero?
I have no real idea, in all honesty, because I didn't have time to just like think about this. I've been really like busy with other things, and then you stopped smiling at me over there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was smiling too. I was going to say sexy time, and I was like, never mind.
As I was talking, my boyfriend just looks over at me with this fucking shit-eating
Mom.
grin on his face. Anyways. I haven't really had much time to think about it, so I wanted to hear about your guys' characters and maybe like get some ideas from you. Because in all honesty, like power-wise, I have no idea. I mean, I started thinking of like a long-term idea for my character, which I was hoping to get some opinions on.
So, when you say power-wise, do you mean like what they can do, or do you mean how strong they can be?
Yeah,
Okay.
both.
Okay, so the cool thing about Fate is there's no this is how strong you should be. Like they give gist of ideas like, oh, when you have an ability and you want a bonus to something, give a +2, right? That's the fair number, right? And it usually tells you to give certain restrictions to those things, right? But no matter what you do, like want to do, you're gonna say, okay, my concept is I want to be able to do this thing. Like I want to be able to fly really fast. Like okay, well that's no problem, right? You can fly really fast. We can work on the ability to do that, right? Like we can tweak the strength of whatever you want to do to fit everyone else's. That's the base idea.
Yeah.
We have to figure out what everyone wants to do, and then figure out what abilities will be the hardest to tweak, and then to say, okay, that one's going to be the curve, right? We start with that one, and then we'll make all our powers equally strong as that one, right?
Okay.
We just got to figure out what everyone wants to do first.
And that's what I'm also unsure of. Like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Let's I guess come back to you. I'm gonna go to Moses, I guess.
I am Sir William, Lord of the Taverns, Knight of the 15 Strings, Keeper of the Music, Guardian. Yeah. My guy is literally just a knight bard.
So what powers are you thinking besides like the power of music, I guess?
Well, this lute was blessed by the power of God because okay. So the idea was that Sir William has a blessed lute, and since he was all about that honor and chivalry stuff, he was kind of like the embodiment of a knight errant. He, to the dismay of a lot of his compatriots, was like, "Screw you guys! I hear the Holy Grail's in fucking Sweden," and he goes over there. He dies. No one knows where he is, but he awakens when he hears Ru Erorum Ib Malakt playing black metal over his death gravesite, which turns out was the place of the Holy Grail. So I was thinking that his loot would like create giant magical force fields or some crap. Basically,
Okay.
he's very support. He's very support heavy.
Okay, so you're gonna be doing like supporting powers, yeah. Like mine are gonna be a mixture of random stuff, technology based, just using it to attack, defend, and misdirect, I guess. I don't really support anyone. I just they don't care about you. She wouldn't care about you guys, really.
Damn.
All right.
Rip. Damn. This thing is held together by duct tape. Nice.
So yeah, you're just gonna have like a musician type character. Okay.
All right.
You guys hear a lot of bardcore. He's also going to be mute, but he can still somehow hum.
Sure about that?
All right.
He's
Sure
going
you
to
can-
communicate through his music.
How are
Being
you
mute
going
can
to-
be really difficult.
Yeah. All right, now are you going to like play a song and say you guys understand this, and then you tell us what you say, or is it just?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, just making sure. Like, if you're gonna be mute, then you better handle that.
Like, I can't think of any other way of playing a mute character than just being like, he tells you all that he wants to do this. He strums his guitar wildly. I could
Yeah.
also have him
I'm
talk.
just saying. Well, is Mo just gonna be able to like not talk while we're role playing, and you're just saying like I play my song like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like without butting in and trying to like talk.
Hmm.
Or you just snap. It's like, no, I'm not mute anymore. I want to talk now.
Okay.
Up to you. You
So
have a
it's
week
okay
to
if I just
decide.
go, he tells you all that he wants to do this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just as we're both saying, playing mute characters is fairly difficult, so keep in mind that.
Yeah, because like you're giving away to talk basically. You're just saying like you play a song and we all understand this, right?
It invokes the emotions.
He gestures angrily at you. His hands splayed apart. He does the knife hands at you. Okay. Codex? It's not there. What? I am. Is the fucking
All right, Sin,
training
Ah!
reality?
your character.
By the way,
me.
is Murderous Intent still joining us?
Yep, he's just
Yeah,
around.
he just hasn't showed up, so
I think it was
Okay.
Steve, probably.
yeah.
I know he was playing yesterday about passing out or whatever at the end of the game, so I guess it's about the same time because he was awake really early.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
lost.
anyway, Sin, go on.
So like connecting my character with Scarlet, is that what that says?
Yep.
Thinking maybe she is trying to help a friend in some way, and so she went to you to become stronger, I guess.
Okay.
I think some of her powers would be like using the drone. Like the first when I saw the art, the first thing I thought of was like creating some like hard light wire between the two drones and using that.
Okay. So we can work on the story like later about like why we're connected and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you keep in mind again, my character doesn't like people. So if you're like, I want to be more machine than people, I guess for some reason, she wouldn't just be like, okay, cool, here's some cool tech powers, right? Like human.
Yeah.
So it would have to be something interesting, like maybe we knew each other, like maybe you were assigned as my assistant or something, and then you died, or what? I had like I saved you or something.
All right, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like we were connected beforehand, where I guess I was okay making you a robot and not just because she wouldn't like just randomly give this gift to a human, right? Like here's some
Yeah.
cool technologies. Yeah, she wouldn't trust people with it either because she knows about like how they do that,
Mm-hmm.
about how they kill each other and fight for no reason.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you say you can bend light?
Dude, the first idea I thought of was making like basically the two drones would connect via some wire type thing, and then she could use that as like a weapon, like maybe as like sort of like nunchucks, I guess, but more like or like as bolas or something.
So are you gonna be you could be like forceful and like hit people with things?
I was thinking that I also had the idea of making it so that the drones could emit gas, but then I saw that Alex has toxic emissions or something.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm sorry about being late. I accidentally told my mom to wake me up at 9 p.m. and not 8 p.m.
You're good.
It is okay.
Yeah. He's on the plague doctor stuff. So So
Yes, I am poison, man.
Poison
yeah.
man,
So
poison
here's the
man,
thing.
poison
Here's the thing
man.
about fate. Things do have like certain mechanics to them. So like a gun or a punch is all forceful. Like it's not like, oh, I'm shooting a gun, so you do like dexterity and stuff like that, like in D&D. It's because the idea is it's whatever's hurting things. It's like when you shoot something, it's the force of the bullet that's hurting them, so it's forceful, right?
Unless you have like a stunt that says you can do otherwise.
Yeah, or you choose to do it another way, right? Let's say like you shoot the gun behind your back, it bounces off the wall, ricochets off the storm drain, off the blah blah blah, then shoots the bad guy in the back of the head. You're like, I shot that flashily, right? That was cool. So and you make up whatever you do, right? You make up whatever you do in the combat, and we decide what it is. So right, if you sneak up behind them and stab them or shoot them, then it's technically going to be sneaky, right? Instead of just right.
Yeah.
So you can like so I'm just trying to make sure it's this. So when people's like, oh yeah, I want to do this way, and then they jump into combat, like I'm going to cleverly hit them with my stick. It's like what? That's forceful. And you're like, oh man, my forceful sucks. It's like, oh okay, if you want to be a forceful character, because it also can work too, because you're like an android thing, right? So maybe you're like super strong, like what is it, the Major and all them in Ghost in the Shell and stuff. How there's like android people that can like just break things. Yeah.
If I may ask, whose character sheet is just labeled no?
Mine.
No, the sun is a deadly laser.
So like you could be the character we don't have, which is the forceful charge and hit things character.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
So like yeah, and if you want to, so you said the laser things. Are you using these lasers as like an attack, or are you trying to say like these can do something cool?
I was thinking there wouldn't be like lasers as in like cut things. It would pretty much just act like a wire, I guess. So she could use them to like wrap them around someone or trip someone, stuff like that.
Yeah. So you want them to do something cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Because remember, like you only can do one thing, which is basically just damage. If you want to do something extra, like tripping, pulling, tying someone up, like these are all things you have to use the stunts with. So we have to like try to figure out like tripping someone. Well, that's not a good stunt, right? So that's pretty weak compared to a stunt, right? So you can write a list of things, like you can name this laser thing, and then say like I can do this big list of things with this cool laser thing, right? And then give you a bunch of stuff for the laser thing or whatever, the wire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about that when we get to abilities and stuff, I guess. Okay. Cool. Is like Smokescreen your like cool character like identity thing?
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind.
Would anyone else know your real name, maybe besides my character?
I don't think she would hide it, so yes.
Okay. Thinking like Smokescreen's your robot name. It's your born again name.
Yeah, Dr. Dnias, he doesn't really have a whole secret identity thing. He does the Tony Stark, pretty much.
He did the Tony Stark.
Yes.
He did the Tony Stark. He
Yeah.
did the Tony Stark.
That's because he's not really a hero. He's pretty much just good because he realizes it's people don't question what you do if you're the good guy. And it's easier to get research grants.
Alright.
Hey, you gotta get money to do research. And it's way easier than robbing banks to just be a good guy.
Wait, so would Sir William not like that? Because my dude's like big, good chivalry and honor and all that. So would you call your man chivalrous? Or honorable at all?
Not really. I'd call him
Yeah,
Ruth.
I don't
call him
think Sir
ruthless.
William would like you.
Not like
Yeah,
Dnias will care. Not like.
What if you're just like, yes, he's a doctor, he knows what he's doing.
And then you realize, oh, he's not a physician. He's a toxicologist. Well, he is a physician.
Like my Bigler.
Which-
You guys all just
Stab him.
accepted me as the doctor as soon as I appeared and said I was a doctor. You didn't test how good I was. You just said you're the doctor. You heal.
I
us."
mean-
He's wearing like a super suit, playing doctor thing with.
Oh, just ignore all those vials of deadly poison.
Yeah, how potions.
Maybe Sir William would trust you at first because, like, plague doctor, a learned man, and then you're pulling some weird shit, and he's like, "Fuck." But he's
Wait,
gonna
did
say
you just
"fuck"
give
with his
that
guitar.
man
He's just gonna be going like, "Ding dong." Perfect character dynamic. So I forgot what Sage's character was again. Sorry.
Is it-
I don't know
Didn't
either.
have one,
With
that's why.
lasers.
No, we're giving her time to think of something.
Alright.
Then
I just looked at DJ Art superhero OCs and I was like, alright, yeah, this looks.
That's what I do with all my characters in every game. Look for art and then make something cool from it.
I've
Yeah.
actually been looking for art this entire time. I just haven't really settled on anything yet. I'm thinking maybe someone to do. I'm thinking somewhat more. Okay, so since we have two people who are kind of really like technology based, and then we have Magic Man, loot player. Then we also have just Plague Doctor. I'm like, what could fit in here? Mushrooms.
Okay.
Mushroom.
And that works with the plague doctor.
In like what way? Hallucinogenic or
Thinking of
like-
variety.
like do it like a berserker Viking, chew on hallucinogenic mushrooms, go crazy and hit things, or
No. No, I'm thinking maybe someone who actually like grows mushrooms like out of their skin and like knows different things and different like herbology and stuff like that.
da
Like,
da da
it's
da,
really-
mushroom man.
Really, mushrooms out of your
You're
skin.
gonna
That's
be like poison
disgusting. I love it.
Are you basically poison ivy but with mushrooms only?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I'm just coming up with ideas.
You just defeat enemies. You just defeat enemies by giving them fucking cordyceps and taking over their brain.
That's badass, not gonna
That
lie.
is actually really cool. Yeah. I mean, poison ivy takes over people's minds all the time for lipsticks. You could do something you like with like mushroom
No, she does it with
spores. and
spores,
stuff.
but she just delivers.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about more was the spores and things like that. And then like of course like I felt like it would be like a good character to be able to do multiple things with like being able to support by having mushrooms that can boost your metabolism and heal you and stuff like that, and being able to apply medicine and stuff, and then also like
That would
also
be
be able to trip you the fuck out and make you see things,
that would be an easy
or
character.
even poison.
Be easy character to make abilities for because there's so many games that have like mushroom characters. Like you can even like go to like the spore druid in D&D, right, and start stealing stuff from them if you wanted to make abilities.
Or just straight up copy Poison Ivy or Floronic Man or Swamp Thing out of
Yeah.
DC Comics. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's all of you have probably come up with some sort of hero or power that's been used somewhere else.
No, that's what I'm saying. You should.
Boys and girls are still alive. Fuck
I mean,
Yeah.
usually it's the bad guy working with deadly poison, but
True. True.
That's the
Like, I found
thing.
this image that I thought was really like. These were a couple of them.
That's the thing that's interesting. Like again, we don't as a lot of heroes, you don't get to pick when you get powers or what powers you get. Right? Some people are born with them. Some people get them from whatever accident or something. Right? And it's up to you if what you choose to do with your powers.
well, I mean, technically without my suit, I don't really have any powers. But yeah,
You're
I
like the
think you should go
Batman.
with Sin's version.
What was that page?
I think you should go with Sin's option.
I think so too.
I mean, you look a bit like a
Listen,
cordyceps, though.
I was looking for like
Whoa,
little like.
That would be an amazing sidekick for you, though.
That would be.
Oh, giant mushroom!
I found these two that I thought could make good. Like,
Also, wait, how
sidekicks.
did nobody think of this? One of your abilities should just be the Mario mushroom. Just get big.
You found psychics already? There you go, little mushroom peoples.
Yeah. Also, here, give me a sec. I have the perfect character pick for you. Let me find it.
But something else that I saw a picture of that kind of inspired me was maybe I could bring mushrooms to life and they would turn into these creatures that would do my bidding ish.
Boom! There's your picture.
Where's the mushroom?
This is
Have a fungus.
hey babe. This is apparently not my new character art. This is apparently it.
damn.
This is my character.
You're just
No!
a middle-aged white man who.
The fungus dealer.
Have a fungus.
Oh my
Oh,
god! Look at
You are the fungus among us.
Among Us,
Babe.
her.
Wait a minute, Spike. Isn't that last one there the little like
Yeah.
mushroom people? That little chopper thought.
Yeah.
Chopper thought.
Yeah, Sage will see him eventually in New Beginnings.
Ooh, I really like that. That could be like your Steve.
That
Ooh,
looks
I do like
uncomfortable to
that.
ride.
That
It
looks
does, but you
that
could
looks
still ride it.
extremely uncomfortable to ride.
Just put a saddle on it. It should be fine.
I don't know. It was just a thought. I could do something else. I don't know.
Yeah. Just if you like, I mean, we're all making fun of it. I mean, don't join on with it, but I mean, yeah. If you just keep thinking of whatever you think is cool. Because I mean, like, again, like, don't just like take. Oh, this is the first thing I thought of. Let's do mushrooms, right? And, like, I do mushrooms, like cool mushrooms, whatever, right? If you just keep thinking, right? If you think it's something cooler or better or something that's like more interesting, right? Just go for it.
I
Right.
don't know.
You can figure something out.
The Codex.
The Codex Astartes?
Or you can do what I did for my
Piece
first
of
fake
it all.
character and just fucking steal it from something.
I
Next
don't
character
want
is
to
essentially the
steal.
Terminator.
Steal it and
I
we-
don't want to
steal
steal
something
someone
and change
else's
it enough that
stuff.
it's not
To be
stealing.
fair, we all stealing it because I mean, like, none of us drew this art, right? So I mean, we're still gonna technically take.
Oh
it
yeah,
and
we're
maybe.
stealing art. I mean, like character concept.
But then I mean, you're like you look at the Plague Doctor and they're like, I'm do Plague Doctor stuff. It's like that's technically stealing the concept, probably of what the artist decided on that character when he drew, right?
This
oh yeah,
is
I didn't find that art and then decide that. I decided that and then stole the art.
Yeah. But I mean, the
only one
idea.
typing, but mushroom.
So I mean, like, yeah, it's just go wherever you want to like play with, pretty much.
But did you guys see the latest one? Paige, I think
Yeah.
you'll like it.
Yeah, that's literally
Yeah.
Poison Ivy with a mushroom hat.
That's literally Poison Ivy with a mushroom hat.
Though with
Just
Yeah.
more.
big mushroom that beats the shit out of everyone. I'm more afraid of this than the Soul of Cinder.
I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, okay, it's a turtle.
Oh, the merchant. That's kind of cute. Turtle.
Turtle.
Show me the missing.
Yo, chill the fuck out, bro. Goddamn.
At 98.
I found one that Spike's character would like.
I have the bald is awesome. I have the bald, but I don't have it. There's nothing left on. What more do you want from me? I'm fucking dying.
So I think we're coming along with this, I guess, a little bit. So what do you think why do we decide to stick together? Do we have a reason for this yet?
Well, as far as I read, we were supposed to have been like doing like a meeting when a meteor hit.
Yeah, you basically think of you know how soldiers after a war will reunite with their old compatriots in like a meeting, like their company, you know.
Yeah.
That's basically what y'all are doing. You guys used to work together back when superheroes were needed, and you have that meeting, just an annual meeting every year, just to kind of get together, talk, have fun, talk about what's going on in your life. And that's when you hear the earth shakes. You turn on your TV or talk to your Alfred, as I said, and you find out an asteroid or a meteor has hit the southern hemisphere, which is obviously quite bad. In this,
No, it doesn't sound like that much of a bad thing.
the whole meteor thing has kind of destroyed this idyllic utopian society that you guys once lived in. And once again, heroes are needed, but there aren't really enough to stop what's coming. And those are you guys, the last heroes.
So what is there a reason that we can make this up too? But is there a reason why? Like, because I assume before this we didn't like just hang out with each other, right? So like once this happens, why wouldn't we just like leave and go back to where we were at, or go back and deal with it on our own, or whatever, right?
Well, I was thinking maybe you guys before were like a form of a Justice League working together. Something happened, you guys grew apart, or because the need for heroes fell apart, you didn't really work together anymore. But of course, that still brings up the reason why did you guys form a Justice League in the first place. But
Research funding.
yeah.
So I think my character will be the Bruce Wayne in this situation that pretty much pays for everything.
Mm.
Yes.
Because like if you would wander around, you would probably see a bunch of signs with my character's face on it that are obviously photoshopped because you never really see her smiling or anything. So it probably has so there was a lot of propaganda probably set up for this character, right? So they probably did something awesome. They created some kind of invention like a while back, like 5 years ago, and then like a company bought it and like from her parents or something, and then they got her to sign some kind of contracts. Or they got the parents to sign contracts for her to like kind of work for these companies to make these cool things. But because she was like she didn't care about all that, she just cared about her inventions, and she liked the idea. Like, wait, I have free test subjects. I just have to make something and then go use it on a supervillain, and I get to test it on a supervillain to see if this kills them or breaks them or whatever to them, right? So she's not really a hero. She just likes to test her things on people, like human subjects. So
that could be your reason for being willing to get back with the group and work with them, because with the destruction of this utopic society, villains and evil are going to rise up again, and you get your chance to test things in your subjects again.
Yeah. But so the idea would be there was a lot of propaganda around they pushed this my character to be like a star hero, like the savior of the world for her like invention that creates infinite food so there's no more world hunger, but also she's the bestest hero ever, right? Like they push this propaganda stuff on people like so they can like sell more stuff with her face on it kind of deal, right? Like she made this, like it'd be a big billboard with her face on it, like doing like a peace sign and a smiley face or something. And obviously she never did that. But yeah, so like they pushed her to be like the good guy hero. But every time someone walks like, I love you, you're my favorite hero, it's like get out my face, kid, and like just like right. Every fan she meets, they just immediately hate her afterwards, right? Everyone knows her not as her, but as the thing the company put in front of everyone. Yeah. So that's probably interesting. But also, again, like her parents will be super rich off her invention because she can't get the money for it because she's too young to sign contracts.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's like I guess like a bit of backstory for my character. I don't know if you want to say anything like that. Do you want to add? My character would not be the leader of this group at all because they would not care about this group.
Mhm. Shit, you can go again. You know, it'd be funny if I was the hero of this group.
It sounds like it. You're the chivalrous one, right? Like,
Is
You're
the
the
character just like a
charismatic
really
one.
old dead guy?
Our leader is a really old dead guy that plays the lute aggressively with the power of God on his side.
I think the main reason, Spike, you would work with them is because of the prospect of being able to test your inventions again.
oh yeah, I have reason to work with them. I'm just trying to figure out reasons why we do things together.
Yeah.
Deep down, I still love you.
Yeah, on Dnias' end, it's pretty much, God for damn it, there goes my supplies and funding again.
If you guys want, you can also name your Justice League if that's the route you guys decide to go with. I'm not gonna name it for you. You guys are the heroes.
Well, yeah.
You have a name?
Oh
There's
my
someone watching
god.
it.
What was that?
That's the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spike.
The League of Justice. No.
You.
Well, I'm thinking of a name because everyone else is busy repeating that scene over and over. That clip.
I see that 98. I feel
Yeah, we'll work on
furious.
it. So, I guess any other backstory stuff you guys want to talk about for your characters? Like, who were they before they were a hero? Or I think we got Moses pretty much right. The whole bard thing.
Yeah.
Of the grill.
I had an idea like that I was thinking about of like my character actually hates that it's like a utopia because of the fact of like, well, now there's no point for me, and now I'm like, I feel like she would have been bullied when she was younger, and now it's like now she's an outcast again.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because like the whole idea of fungus and things like that grows from like rot and everything. If there's no like rotting food anywhere or nothing bad, like there's like not a lot of fungus like in the utopia. And I would assume like a lot of the woods and forests have been torn down to make more, city and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What if
So I
there's
was-
like an underhive? I know half of you don't know what an underhive is, but
Hey, what's
um,
an underhive?
how would I explain it?
Point of
The depths of Coruscant, basically just a place that no one goes anymore. That's just sort of. I've never seen Futurama.
Wait, are you saying like the underworld of Coruscant? Most of the population of Coruscant lives down there.
Okay, yes, but I mean like the opposite, as in basically the city was built on top of an old city. So let's say the city you see in front of you is built on top of New York City. Everything below it is Empire State Building, all that stuff, because maybe at some point the water rose, they had to get higher.
Basically, below the big part is shit.
Yeah.
The top part, hey, that's good. Lower part, we got the back streets. We got cannibals running around.
Well,
Yeah,
the
see,
only
that
reason
still
this
work.
world is still considered the only reason I'd still consider this world a utopia is because literally no one knows that place still exists. If anything, they're just myths. No one knows that the Undercity
never mind then,
exists.
Nobody's found a weak point in the floor.
No one
Well, it's
fell through the floor.
It's so far down.
Nobody
that
thought to
it's
look
even-
down.
What if
Don't
no,
look them in
guys,
the
like
eye.
Like seriously, like what if it's like so far down that like there's a whole other sewer system that's even on top of the city that
How
is
fucking
lower.
big would this extension be?
Yeah.
How high up in the air is that thing?
The Empire State Building's there, right? Then it's
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Earth has a
Looks
new
pretty high.
crust.
Yeah, the Like,
Earth
what
has
happened?
a new
Like,
crust,
when
and it's just fucking cities on top of each other.
Did they just cover the old city in dirt and build on top of it, or
I had a concept of it, but then it would have to be within the last 5 years. So like if my character would have created something to like a better like a machine that can create better, right? Like create better like
So-
buildings and stuff like that.
What if?
And like
What if?
like-
Sorry.
Well-
I just wanted to say, what if you created like a machine that really created a new crust, as you said, to stamp out?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
volcano and any other geological.
So what the idea would be is they were like, well, all that technology and all those buildings are just like old stuff, and this machine can utilize different stuff to make better stuff. So we don't need any of that. So they're like, well, we can tear everything down, move it all the way, and put it. Like, well, that's gonna take time. Where are we gonna put it all? So there'll be a bunch of debris. It'll be a whole city. Like, here's the video. How about we just knock it all down? It's like the Empire State Building gets knocked down, it crumbles and falls over, whatever. They knock down all the big buildings, and then we just put a layer of this better stuff over it, right? So it's not super high, right? It might be like several stories high, but not like Empire State Building high. Like knock all the big buildings down so there's room, right? And then they just rebuilt this utopia on top of it.
Yeah, and people just ended up forgetting about it, and somehow there is life under there. Somehow Sage's character was created from the fungus and the whatever abominations.
The degenerates.
roam under there.
But I was also thinking like, what if my character is either like hero turned villain or something because of it being a utopia.
How so?
Like because she hates that it's a utopia, she literally started going against it.
Yeah, but
That could
we're
work.
all playing as heroes, so
Yeah, you have to remember that we're all playing as heroes. So you have to
Yeah,
they can
I mean,
be-
if we're all heroes and you're a villain, my character's just gonna think, a perfect chance to test the Zyklon B.
Yeah. But maybe we don't know she's a villain, right? She's trying to infiltrate us and control the heroes, maybe because she has controlling powers. We can do some like some good thing, right? Like she's like, oh, all these people hate me and blah blah blah, and they no one cares about me, and because I was like the whole bully thing and everything. And then you join this group to be like, okay, I'm gonna take them over from the inside. Then slowly we become friends. and then you feel like, wait, I do have a place.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, kind of like that. So I don't know, something.
I
like
was
that.
kind of thinking something along those lines. Yeah.
Hero?
I have no problem doing it the opposite way. Like, it could have been like how it could be part backstory instead, to where it's like she used to be like a hero and help people when she discovered that she could, and then it started becoming a utopia, and she started just like really, really not liking it and turning against it. And then when we meet up again, she's like, that's when you guys are kind of like, well, we still need you. Like, you are still needed. And that's when she starts like, yeah.
Yeah, so like it could be this, like you were the hero and everything like that, and then when the utopia started happening, like your powers won't be as strong because you have less stuff to connect to, right? Because there's nothing really fungus stuff around you, so you become weaker. Then people start looking at you like, oh, you're not a good hero, or you're like your powers are worthless now and stuff like that, and then you started getting, so you went down underground to, I guess, refuel, and then you're like, they'll all pay for blah blah blah, right? And then maybe you did some little bit of crimes or whatever, but eventually you probably just retreated to the underground when it became like super utopia, and then we didn't need heroes anymore. And like when the whole thing came about, you're like, now's my time to strike to get back at them. So we can have a little bit more fun with it for now, right? And say like you are a bad guy right now, and then over the course of the campaign, you become a good guy again of some sort, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I was hoping to do.
Yeah. You're just doing like a like you're pretending to be a good guy, but you're the bad guy, and then over maybe role play and or maybe we just shun you even more, and then you hate us, and then we have to fight you at the end of the campaign.
Well, no, yeah, I've definitely planned on her like actually changing and being good with you guys again.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Unless we actively.
We could always see. Yeah, we could always see where the story takes us, because if by chance, like, you know, things she could start seeing things start turning back into a utopia again later on in the story, and be like, no, this isn't what I wanted. Yeah. I wanted things to be back the way they were before even that happened.
Like even my character is technically probably an evil bad guy, like, but she's just 13. And I even say when she gets old enough to realize, like, you know what? These people can't stop me. I can just do whatever I want and no one can, right? But, like, she doesn't have to deal with that concept right now. She's too busy making stuff and doing cool things. But, like, yeah, to think about being a good guy or a bad guy. All she knows is she can go out in the street and shoot a laser beam at a bad guy, and then everyone claps for her, and then she goes back and does her thing, right? If she went to go just randomly shoot pedestrians on the street, then she'll have to deal with bullshit afterwards of like armies coming to get her and other superheroes trying to fuck with her, right? So she doesn't really care who she's shooting a gun at. She just cares about the annoyance afterwards. She's technically a bad guy. She doesn't want to have to deal with shit.
Alright.
And I'm still finding more character art and things, sorry.
You're all good. This is what this session is for.
There's also just a lot of like different types of like mushroom people, and I really like them.
Of course, the first session will be very messy as per usual because everybody's still learning the system and all that. But
it's expected, so we'll all be forgiving of each other.
Yes.
No forgiveness.
But I think you guys get the general drift.
Well then, Sen, you can just pack up that attitude and come give me a hug, because I am mad at you and I will squeeze you.
I believe you guys get the general idea of the story.
Fucking Lord!
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, just ask.
So.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
You okay?
My boyfriend turned to me and said, I thought you were about to say back up that ass, and I was just like, wait, no, not for Sen. Sen doesn't mean.
Are you sure about that?
I'm very innocent, right, Paige?
Sen is innocent to me,
yes,
and that
the
is what
walking
matters.
bringer
You
of
leave
dick
Sen
jokes.
alone.
The person who stole
Oh my
dicks
god, I
is...
forgot that you stole dick.
I forgot about that too.
We will not let you forget.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, and I don't want to know.
Okay, so in a game that we played a long time ago, Sen's character stole a dick.
No!
She stole dicks off everything we killed.
I didn't steal them.
Wait,
They
Who
were
was it that
alive.
rolled a nat
For
20 and like
itself.
punched a dragon's dick?
I don't know if she
Which-
had a dragon's dick.
No, one of you rolled a
No,
nat
she
20 and
did. Alex.
punched the dick of a dragon.
Alex
Hey.
punched the dick or the
No,
balls.
no.
Of
I shot it right in the balls in order to stun it.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked out, and we killed the
Didn't
thing.
you after all? God, I remember you guys also romanced the dragon once.
No, that was just Ollie.
okay.
guys.
He fucked it
think-
in furnace.
Yeah, I threw an axe at it several times.
I think I
That's
found
all I
a good
remember from it.
potential like weapon that she could use like close up and stuff.
All right.
I'm sending it now
Well,
in images.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any range stuff, so you could really just flavor. That's
Well, her spores could be ranged because if they're
well, no. It's just in Fate, range doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
There's no battle maps or anything like that. It's just you're here,
Okay.
relative.
Fair
You
enough,
do
but-
X happens.
Yeah. So there's things called zones, and zones are just like the area we're in at the time, right? Like if we're in like a warehouse, like cool, this is the zone. If you want to walk outside the warehouse, that'll be changing zones, and then you can change one zone per turn. So like you walk outside the warehouse. So like if the bad guy says, like they run outside the warehouse and they run on the roof of the warehouse, they get a helicopter and fly away, right? It will take you time to do that as well. Take them time. You can choose not to take an action. You can move 2 zones in that turn, so it's kind of like the dash action, basically. But yeah, you just change zones. So you can shoot things within X amount of zones, right? Like it depends on what the weapon is and what it can do. You just figure out like how far you want to shoot and stuff.
Okay.
all right.
But either way, I like having the idea of her having like her creating her own weapons and stuff, and I
Yeah.
like this one. Like, what do you
Like-
guys think of it?
Yeah, Fate
I
allows
think
you to
it's really
be
good.
super creative, so like you might want to use this as the time you do creative stuff, right? To make up bullshit and just have fun with it.
Later or now, Spike, if you could show us all how combat. I know it won't be very combat heavy, but it's inevitably going to happen. If you could show us how combat works through like an example of you fighting something
Yep,
or
sure
one of the
will.
players, because I'm presuming your character's set.
Yeah,
that'd
I'll
be
do.
great.
I did that the last time too, because yeah, people can see how it works. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, if we all kind of got like a very basic idea of what we want to do, maybe we should work on the start of abilities, and then we can jump back and forth to aspects and abilities. Or maybe we should do aspects a little bit first, because aspects can connect to your characters. So
Right.
if you want to look at my character sheet, I have stuff on my bio and info that you can like look over and kind of get a gist of how I did things. Murderous, I think, has his too with the doctor guy, so you can check that
Yeah.
out too.
I like it a lot more when everyone's able to see each other's abilities.
Yeah, 'cause we're supposed to. We have to. That's why, because we're supposed to be able to interact with each other's aspects.
Yeah,
So we should have them
essentially
on.
being like, hey, your character, do this, go do it.
Yeah. Because I'll explain what these things do, and with that, after what we like talk about a little bit. So if you're looking on my sheet underneath my little like name and height and all that stuff, how it says like concept, trouble, and then I have 3 normals, and don't worry about reference and refresher and current. That's for fate point stuff for me to keep track of. So you're supposed to have a concept, like a high aspect concept that kind of explains your character. Now this, like I wrote Techromancer, right? Now you're like, what the hell is that, right? Well, it's whatever I want it to be, whatever it makes the most sense, right? I can say, as a Techromancer, I should be able to interact with this computer. As a Techromancer, I should be able to do X and Y. As blah, 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 I should be able to, right? It kind of explains, like, I get to explain what this is, and, right, like, we could take it and make it something easy, right? I could take, like, Han Solo again, because I've been using that one lately. He can write down his concept, like smuggler, right? It'll be something very simple, like smuggler. But you also can get a little bit more, like, detail with it, like charismatic smuggler, right? Or like witty, charismatic smuggler, or foolhardy, witty, charismatic smuggler, right? You can get a little like add a few things to it to keep going and going and going to you get your like base concept of what your character is, like what we're gonna see a lot of it, right? Like Murs probably have like plague doctor potentially. I don't know what his has, but I'm giving like words again, right? Like Moses.
My
could be, like,
concept is biochemical mastermind.
Yeah. Like Moses can be like musician or like night music.
Master Bard Knight Errant.
See, yeah, basics like things that I can look at, like based after you described your character, and then I read your concept. Like, yeah, that fits. That makes sense. That describes your character pretty much. Yeah. That's what your high concept is. So that's what that is. So your trouble aspect is something that can get your character in trouble. So this is where I wrote down that she likes technology more than people, right? So she's gonna not care about people as much. She's gonna care more about technology. Like I said, if there's a burning building, there's like a baby and a remote. She's gonna grab the remote and jump out the window because she wants the remote to be terrified, right? So like there's gonna be, yeah. So that's gonna be a trouble aspect. That's gonna get her in trouble a lot potentially, and that's gonna get people to be annoyed at her a lot, right? Things like, right, it's again like if we could check this at D&D, it would be like your flaw, right, from D&D, from 5th edition's backgrounds, kind of, which they pretty much kind of took this concept for 5th edition. They just didn't do it very well because there's a lot of cool things with this. And then your 3 normal ones are just other things you want to tell about your character, right? These can be things that tell a little bit about your character, or that they bring things into existence, right? So like my first one I wrote, responsible for most of the world's technological breakthroughs in the last 5 years. So now that doesn't really give me anything other than what I've been saying, right? Like this whole like, oh, my character will be on billboards, my character will be this, my character's super rich, right? This all explains why, right? Because I wrote this down, that means this is true in the game now, it exists in the game because I wrote this down. So because of this, things are going to happen to my character and with my character because of this, right? Like, so my character will be super famous and all this stuff, because like that's what will come from, making amazing in the last few years. And then I can communicate with technology because, again, no one else can do that, right? And if I don't write this on my sheet somewhere, I can't do that. So if you have an idea of something you want to be able to do for your character, it has to be somewhere in your sheet. Like it has to be written down in an aspect or a stunt or something to allow you to do it. Because again, if not, you're just basic. Was that?
I was gonna ask, are we allowed to add to our sheet as we go on?
Yeah, as we level. At the end of a I have the rules change a little bit in my game. I guess maybe we can do the same thing, but because usually I always play with new people, so I give a little bit of more leeway with that. So at the end of a session, if you feel that one of your concepts doesn't fit you anymore, right? Like if like basic in D&D, if your alignment changed, if something doesn't fit anymore, right? Like if I lost the ability to talk to technology for some reason, I would have to pretty much, I could remove that, or I guess I would have to, because I lost the ability. Like if you don't feel like, if you're at like, I hate everyone in this group, right? You're like, okay, but then you're like, oh no, I like everyone now. So you would erase that one and change it to something else, right? I'm
So
probably
kinda like-
actually I'm probably actually going to change one of my concepts to add to Sin's character, because you can add you can create connections with other players. Like I helped Smokescreen. I created Smokescreen or something like that, right? I'll write that down, which will then link that true to the world, which means when I'm like, oh, she's broken, like I can fix her because I created her, right? So I can help her or something like that, some kind of way.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense, right? You write stuff down to make sense. So this is basically take your story and you put it in here into your aspects pretty much somewhere. It's kind of how the gist of it works.
Okay.
And these have a mechanical thing too. So whenever you make a roll, like let's say I'm doing something to do with technology, right? So you're like, okay, you want to hack this computer, you're gonna need a clever roll of 2, right? And then I roll my clever, my DC is 2, and I roll a 1. I failed, right? I didn't get the number I needed. I failed, just like in D&D. But I go, no. I'm a techromancer. I should be good at this shit. I'm a master with technology. I should be good at this. So because of I can link one of my aspects to what I'm doing with, like, the one of my aspects, I can spend a fate point, and I get a +2 to the roll. And you get to do is after you see if you failed or succeeded, like did a fail or success, and then you get to choose what you want to do afterwards. So your aspects not only make things true, they also help you in the game mechanically, right? So if you want to make like a super sneaky rogue or something like that, you can write like concept, super sneaky like rogue, like normal, master at stealth, right? Another normal, I'm the best assassin in the world, right? You can have like all these things that just like I'm a rogue, pretty much, right? In just different ways. And then we're like, okay, you gotta sneak past these guards. Boom, you got like a 0 or something. You need like a 6. So you're like, fate point. I'm a master assassin. I know how to sneak past things. I'm the most sneakiest person in the world. I know how to sneak past things, right? And you can like +2, +2, +2, right? And you just keep getting pluses because you're just good at this thing. Like, right, your character will be very basic and like only can do one thing, but they can do that one thing really well because you wrote it on your sheet so many times, right? It's kind of boring, but if that's what you want to do, that's on you, right? Like that's cool, right? Like if Sage, if you want to like lean really heavy into spore stuff and just have like a bunch of shit that says like spore things on your sheet everywhere like this, perfectly fine. I mean, like, if you can't think of anything else and you're like, I don't want to add anything else, right? Like, this doesn't make sense for me to have anything else. I can just do this thing really well and be really cool, right? And then eventually make a giant mushroom monster or something.
I was actually thinking of having her to be able to develop her skills because I found these pictures of like dragon mushrooms, and I was like, those look cool. It'd be really nice if I could make those. But I don't think it should be a starting ability. I think it should be something that she starts to learn to make, and then is able to make it with you guys, like kind of thing.
When she learns the power of friendship.
And then like
Or maybe not.
and then your stunts. Well, let me do the refresher and current first. So as of right now, when we start the game off, everyone has a current of a refresher of 3. Because I have a 1 there, but that's because I lowered my refresher. So when you have a refresher of 3, and that means at the beginning of every session, you go up to that many fate points. So if you had 1 fate point at the beginning of the session, your refresher's 3, you go up to 3. If you had 3 in your refresher's 3, you don't get any extra. You can't just, you don't just get 3 every time. You go up to 3, right? Whenever you level, you get another refresher or you get another stat point. Pretty much, it's up to you what you want. That's the way I do it. I mean, it makes it easier. I say it's better. Like yeah, you get a refresher or a stat point. So if you want to make one of these better, your max is a 5. You can't go above a 5. So keep that in mind. So what refreshers do is you can lower your refresher by 1 to gain another stunt. Stunts are your super cool abilities that are unique and special to you. The ones that give you your powers, pretty much. If you notice, like I wrote mine down here. So I'm using some more advanced stunts. I don't think I have any of the basic ones. I think Murderous might have one. So yeah, if you look at Murderous's character, his second stunt. Yeah, his second stunt's like a base stunt. It's the Doctor's Intuition. Like, yeah, +2 when using Clever to create or discover an advantage. So this is like one of the base core book kind of ways to write something, where you give yourself a +2 when you're using a certain stat to do a certain thing, right? So this way it just allows you to be really good at that thing all the time, right? It's a +2 to that specific thing you're doing, right? But that's a good stunt because it just makes you stronger, right? It just shows you how good you are at that thing. Stunts there's like usually 3 different stunts, like a passive stunt, a once per scene stunt, or a once per session stunt, right? Like, and they're usually really good. Like you can have a stunt that says once per session, I can kill anyone with mind bullets, right? I can just look at someone and their head explodes. Done, right? No save, no nothing. You just killed them all. Right, and you're like, oh, it's super overpowered, right? It is. Like we talked about this last time about, like, it's overpowered, but again, the game's not supposed to be a combat game to win and beat the bad guy and that's it, right? It's supposed to be a story game. So, like, if, again, we get to the last boss that we've been hunting for, like, months, and you're like, cool, I use my ability to mind bullet him, he dies. And the DM's like, cool, you did it, he's dead, good job, you win the game. Like, oh, that was boring. It's like, yeah, it was, and whose fault was that? Your fault. You don't want to have the ability, right? Like, you made the game boring, not me, right? So the idea is, like, remember, keep in mind that the game's a storytelling game to tell a cool story and to do some cool shit, not just to win. So you don't want to make super broken abilities. You want to have fun abilities, pretty much.
Oh, God.
But you are able to have broken abilities.
I had a question as far as the aspects go. Can you have like as many of those as you want?
No. You have a high concept, a trouble, and 3 normal.
3 normal. Okay.
And that's actually all you get for the rest of the game. They can change.
Okay.
They can change throughout the game, but that's all you get for the rest of the game. Yeah. So there's different ways of doing stunts. So technically, I have 5 stunts right now. So we start off with 3. So everyone has 3 stunts to make for today if they want. And then you can get additional 2 by giving up 2 refresher. Your refresher can't go below 1. You can have up to 5 if you want. But then that means every session you won't like get a lot of fate points back. So it's up to you if you want to activate your aspects more or you want to have more cool abilities.
If you don't use fate points, do they stack up? No. So you can only have limit.
You
for
can
that.
have as many as you can, but your refresher can't give you more than your refresher limit. So if your refresher is 3 and you start a session you have 2, you go up to 3. If you have 3 at the beginning of the session, you get nothing. But
Okay.
there's ways of getting more fate points. So
I was just about
whenever
to ask about that.
yeah, so whenever a aspect complicates your life in some kind of way, you get a fate point. So whenever I get us in trouble because I care more about technology than people, I'll get a fate point. Like if someone has like can't resist to save a child or something like that, like I must save all children, and like oh the child in a burning building, and you're like I jump in, I have to go after him, right? And then like we have to go in and save you because you get hit by a log or something, and then it just causes a big problem, but you get a fate point, right? That's you did your thing, you get a fate point. So yeah, like you get rewarded fate points for complicating your character's life, kind of. So that's why I said the trouble aspects. You want them to actually be trouble. You don't want them to be like, "Oh, does your game have X yet?" It's like, "Oh no, that's extinct." Oh, cool. I'm terrified of those things. Like, well, I don't have any. It was like, "Yeah, cool, right? I tricked the system. I don't have to be scared of my thing because it don't exist anymore." Haha, right? You know, you want your troubling aspect to get you in trouble.
Mhm.
And you can also use normal aspects to be more troubling aspects, just to build more fate points if you want.
How detailed with the aspects can you get?
You want to keep them to like a sentence or 2. You don't want to just like write a paragraph so you get a bunch of shit, right? Right.
Well, the reason I was asking is because I was thinking of a way that my character actually got her powers was that she was born from like a man who died protecting like a sacred tree or earth or something like that. Like he died protecting something natural, and because of that, the earth actually started to conform with him and created my character, and that would affect like my character's like whole like form because she's part nature, part human.
Yeah, like right. In your normal aspect, you write nature born, right? And they're like, what does that mean? It's like, look at my story, and you know, right?
Okay.
Oh, by now, cute.
So you can like just write a gist of things, so we can like check the stories for other stuff too, right? Like furthermore to kind of explain it. Like the idea is like you would only know what that means, and you can tell us when it makes the most sense to apply those abilities and stuff. So Moses, do you have any like fleshed out? I assume your aspects are going to be your story, right? You're just putting them in aspect form, kind of.
Master Bard, Knight Errant. I didn't actually think of anything else aside from that. Like, what do you need from me? Sorry, I've been trying to figure out why I'm only at 98% abnormality dissolution than 100%.
Okay. So I guess I would say this first. Like, if no one wants to pay attention and care about this stuff, then I'm not going to fight for it. This isn't my game.
So
Like so first off, we had 2 weeks to do this. I can do this all in a day. So everyone had 2 weeks. So if you don't have stuff, that's your fault. Everyone.
Oh no,
Yeah.
because
Like
I
everyone.
already have my trouble
Yeah, I
and my
did this.
aspects written down. So
So like we've had this whole day to do this the rest of the session, and then people are like, no, I'm playing my video game. I'm not paying attention. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Does anyone actually want to play?
my bad.
Yeah, it took me like 15 minutes to make my character. So
Because I already made everything about my character, and you told me that I could just make the stunts while playing the game. So
I feel like the odd one out.
Yeah.
I'm
So
the only one that's struggling to make character.
well, you're actually trying to make the character. Like I'm about to go back to Sin. Since like I don't got anything. I'm like, okay, cool. Guess we're going back to next, right? Like,
Yeah.
so are we gonna keep going in a circle and no one has anything and no one's trying to make anything, or like Sin, do you got something?
I was thinking of having her drone thingy, like, so since it's like a wire, I was also thinking of maybe being able to use it, like, sort of to swing across things.
Swing? Okay.
Yeah, like, she would, like, throw one, they'd be connected, right, and then she'd, sort of swing it up, and then it would just, be static in place somewhere, and then she could use that to swing.
Okay, cool.
So,
like a
so like
mobile
in
rod.
Lego Indiana Jones, where with the swing points.
Yeah, but your
Yeah, that
your
works.
little drone would be like an immovable rod, right? It kind of like just fly. So
Yeah.
you just throw it and it stops, and you swing. And yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Or
also
you could,
thinking,
or you could also flavor it like have the two of them like form together as like a zip line kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah. So you would probably make this. You'd probably name this thing something like what would this be? And I would assume that my character made it, and then
yeah, probably.
yeah. So you would name this thing, right? You would name whatever you want to call this thing, like I don't know, light ball or I don't know, electric fly. I don't know. Name your thing something. Don't know what technically it is. It's like a little ball, right? It's one little ball floating around you.
3D aim station?
I haven't really thought of the name at all yet. So.
Yeah. So you probably want to write it down as a stunt, and then like kind of like how I have inventions, but
Mhm.
just have it as like the name, and then you would have like um grappling hook, whatever, and then you'll be like and then you basically describe what that gives you, right? Like I can change one additional zone, right? Because it allows you to go faster or something.
Yeah.
And like can it let you fly?
No. Well,
Is it strong? It's strong enough to hold you up. Is it strong enough to pull you up?
hmm.
You can say yes. Like I'm just asking you if this is something you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Like it can stay, it can just be immovable, but it can't move and hold my weight.
Yeah, because like that ability as of right now isn't strong enough, right? So the idea is for stunts, you can add more to it, right? It can do more things.
Yeah.
Can it do something else? What else can it do?
I was also thinking of the drone because the one of the first things was since she's called Smokescreen, she can deploy the drone can deploy Smokescreen.
Okay, and what does the smoke screen do?
Um, just inhibit the vision of my enemies, I guess. And then, but since I'm a cyber, I got cyber eyes. I can see through it.
Okay, so it seems like this will be setting a scene. Like your smoke will be setting a scene that we can utilize to get
Yeah.
bonuses. Okay, so you can do something like Seraphim had, or something even like Murder's character has. Then with it's the first ability you have, I think.
What are you called again?
Yeah. So if you want, you can basically like as a free action, basically, you can deploy your smoke screen stuff to create an aspect if you succeeded with style, right? So it's basically the first part. And then instead of the second part of at the start of each turn, you can like reactivate it. Instead of that, you get the ability to do the grappling and swingy thingy with it too.
Yeah. Right.
Also, I'm just imagining that at like a start of a fight or something like, "Hey, get your smoke out of my poison." Well, you get your poison out of my smoke.
Officer Reese comes and kills you guys and takes it.
Real quick. So, I mean, if you want me to make my stunts now, there's
We're
this
talking them
scene-
over because we got to make sure to kind of figure out what we want. I mean, you don't have to. It's just that if you wait to the session, you're like, hey, I want to do this. Like, cool, let's stop the session and talk about how we make your stunt fair, right? And then we have to talk about it and fix it and blah, 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 right?
Okay.
Mhm.
If that what is what you were asking me earlier, then my bad, I didn't hear you. Yeah, I had this one idea where Sir William just manifests the holy power of God through music and can just like block anything in like a radius around him.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's the thing. Radiuses don't make sense. There's no range.
no, that's not the bit. That's like it can be in the zone, right? It's fine. Like
Yeah.
everything in the zone. Yeah. So, but what does that mean? Block everything. Block all damage. Block everything from moving
Block all damage
for
Like,
a turn.
invisible-
For what?
for as long as Sir William loses himself in the battle mode. So as long as I want. So,
Okay, so essentially just no fight. Because you can't hurt
block
each other.
all damage coming at us. It's just a giant shield.
Okay, so
So
we just
blocking all damage coming
so
out
it's
of
impossible for us to lose.
no blocking
Yeah.
all damage from coming from other zones. You mean?
From like outside the magical guitar shield.
Yeah, that seems fair. So like if your thing is the entire zone, so that means if things are already fighting in the zone, you can't block it because they're in the bubble, though, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So it basically it blocks range stuff from a distance. Yeah.
Just seeing the shield come up. Oh shit! We are in the gas chamber.
And like you can do
Welcome to Auschwitz.
you could even try to do like make that better as you go too, right? You can add different effects to inside the zone as well.
Hmm.
You can keep
mean,
those up.
I was thinking of this one as the one stunt that I can use for an entire session or something. Like you were talking about the
That would just be a passive stunt where you, as you start playing, it just happens, and then whenever you stop, it stops, and whenever you start playing, it happens, right? Like it's
Maybe given an extra ability or something like that it maybe could prevent travel between zones as well, like to keep enemies from like getting away or something like that.
Yeah, I thought that's what I
And
was
that
gonna
could
do.
be like a once per scene or once per session activatable thing.
It could also keep
What?
enemies from
Well,
coming.
no,
in.
let's see what
And
Moses
it
wants
also
first.
buff like allies.
So
inside.
Moses. So here we got to figure out what the base of you want. So do you want this to be a thing you can do once per scene, and then once you stop, you can't do it again for the rest of the scene, or do you want it to have the ability that you can just do it as much as you want, whenever you want, as often as you want?
I was thinking the most often or not is just bardic inspiration, basically, but cooler and more stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want? Because we have to balance around like how it's like. Oh yeah, you can do as much as you want. Like, okay, we can't make it super broken because you can do as much as you want.
No,
But,
I
like,
was thinking of this one as like the session only stuff.
once per session, then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to be really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you activate it, and until you stop playing, and then once you stop playing, you can't do it again to the next session, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So you activate it, you start doing it. You block all damage from coming into the bubble.
Maybe I block all damage coming to everyone else except Sir William.
Sure. I guess it's the Warcraft ability, like the Big Bad Voodoo. You can even have it to where you just block all damage, and then it's a once per session thing. But then like you have to, so you activate it for the next turn. You're blocking all damage, and then at the start of your next turn, or at the end of your next turn, you have to make some kind of roll to see if it stays up, right? Like if you get distracted, or if you get hit, or blah blah blah, right? And so it could technically stay up forever as long as you keep on the roll, right? But it might fall. You can do something like for every time you're attacked before the roll, you get like it gives a -1 to the roll, so it becomes harder and harder to keep it up, right? Because you're just being attacked.
So yeah, and the roll would be flashy because certainly he's playing the loot very aggressively. He's playing BFG Division on a loot.
It'll probably start as a fair roll of 2, so it'd be very easy to keep up for a couple of turns. But then after every turn, like you get hit, everyone, because the idea is like they always start attacking you directly, like hey, stop that, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be like it'll get like +1 every time something hits you or tries to hit you.
Hey Moses, have you ever heard the song "Through the Fire and the Flames" by Dragon Force?
Do you think I'm an idiot? Of course I did.
Okay, I'm just imagining when you do that in the fight, you start performing that one like guitar solo that's like 4 minutes long with nothing else in it but electric guitar.
Wait, just using a lute.
Yeah, with a lute somehow.
Also, I'm hoping you guys are writing this stuff down somewhere, because I'm not writing your abilities down.
Of course. Holy shit, there's a bardcore version of Through the Fire and Flames.
Oh my god, I need to see this.
It's alright.
Yeah. Well, it's what you're gonna be playing, so
Yeah.
through the fire and the brimstone.
Wait, Sir William regains his vocal cords.
So back to, I guess, like aspects and all those things. Did you guys have any of those ideas for those things?
Um,
Those are the things we need to know about because that's more like the character stuff, right?
I was gonna ask if, like, so for the Undercity, is my character gonna be one of the only ones that actually knows about it? Because it's like gonna be her domain and where she goes to and resides.
That's what you want. You write
Well,
that
I'm
down. If
asking-
you write that down somewhere, then that's true.
Well, I meant, like, I wanted to ask Paige because I didn't want to be like, well, oh, my character's the only one that knows, and then
That's what we
suddenly, oh,
do.
well, there's this whole community down here.
Well, no, I think you're talking the Underhive or whatever, the Undercity. There's not going to be much down there, no. I think that for the most part, you are a genetic abnormality.
There's some mice down there.
Well, yeah.
And the way it works is so here's how it works. In this game, the DM comes and tells us stuff, and then based off what they tell us, we add to that. So if she did have something planned for that, she should have told us that, right? So we know that, because again, like, this is like, oh, all these cool secrets from the play. Like, no, we have to know all this shit because we're trying to tell a good story together, right? So we don't ruin each other's
Okay.
things. So, like, yeah, you don't need to assume anything. Like, if you want something, you just tell them. And again, like, they're the DM, so they have more power to change things than you do. So if you have a cool idea, we should run with your idea before we run with the DMs, kind of.
Okay, so then yeah, she'd be one of the only people, like, who actually even knows that, not only knows that it exists, but how. She's probably one of the only one that knows how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You like the guitar,
And I just want to clarify that this isn't some seemingly perfect utopia where, in fact, the leaders are actually evil and marketing off everyone. When it's genuinely a perfect utopia where everyone is equal, or it's just perfect. There's no one, not really anymore, trying to get out at each other and stuff. The leaders aren't benefiting, keeping secrets. It's all utopic.
And everywhere else is just bad.
And then, haha, meteor go boom.
Yep. Basically it.
And then meteor goes boom, and bad guy go ha. I'm back? Question mark. Die. I got 3 upvotes. That's nice.
And then the technology fetishists, the mushroom, the dead guy from medieval Europe, and the definitely not a Nazi scientist need to save the world.
Yep.
Dead bard man from medieval Europe. Channels the power of God and Saint Hildegard to play through the fire and the flames on a lute.
Did
He
you?
gets his hand on a metal guitar. And
Yeah,
all of his stunts just power up.
I'm just imagining like have that be like a thing that you're able to get your hands on whenever you find one. Like, you use it and your stunt gets more powerful for like that time, but you play it so intensely the guitar breaks.
In Ignif Lamae becomes an actual cover of Through the Fire and Flames.
Yeah.
And instead of just protecting everyone, it deals damage every turn.
You just form a laser from the music.
You just hear Through the Fire and Flames, and then suddenly, I cast Jesus on you! God comes down.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like your character first hearing like heavy metal for the first time. Just yes, I like this heavy metal.
My background is he literally came back to life because he listened to black metal.
Yeah, because he listened to a black metal concert.
I feel like my character's gonna have a lot to talk about with both of you, because first of all, you being undead, that's such an interesting concept to her, because she has been she's pretty much part something that survives off of dead things. And then also with Murder's Intents being a witch doctor, she knows a lot about nature and natural
He is
poison.
not a witch doctor.
Or not witch doctor, sorry, I meant
plague doctor.
Plague doctor,
And
sorry.
even then, he's not a traditional plague doctor. That's just his look.
He's just a guy.
He's not just a
actually-
guy. He's a renowned scientist.
So he's a
He's
renowned
not just a renowned
guy.
scientist,
We're all
he's a
guys.
Nazi.
Yeah, he's a definitely not a Nazi scientist. I mean, if you go into his sheet and scroll down, look at him when he's out of his suit. That's definitely not a Nazi, right? That's
No,
Totally
that
not
just
gonna
looks like a
slip you some
dude.
psychoactive drugs to see how you react.
I'd trust him with my kidneys if I had any.
Oh,
kidneys to give.
and ignore that picture of his lab. Those aren't dead bodies. Those people are perfectly alive.
No, those people are dead, but they were given willingly. Those people
Thanks-
killed themselves for my work.
Yes,
Dead bodies
yes.
can be donated to science.
They volunteered to be injected
They
with deadly
volunteered to die.
He was just a death row convict that kind of, signed the papers without reading. He didn't know what he was getting into. Don't ask.
No, he definitely he knows how to read. He's a death row convict. He just wanted to support my work.
Yep. He completely agreed to be injected with a strain of the Black Plague that I genetically modified.
But I was gonna say, like, as far as aspects go, this is what I kind of have so far. I wrote down nature-born mushroom abnormality, and then as far as her trouble one goes, just I thought that this was perfect for the time being. Was hates the utopia. She doesn't like that everyone is like just okay with the cities taking over and nature being subjected to what it has been and all that.
Wait. Sorry for interrupting,
You're all good.
but can I write it down as like an extra thing that if Sir William gets his hand on a electric guitar, his stunts get more powerful?
Like you could have that as a stunt stipulation for things.
Yeah, but how hard is an electric guitar?
And then I've put lives off of nature medically, nutritionally, and physically because she is part nature. She knows like how to use different herbs, plants, and mushrooms in general for medicine, nutrition, and to herself can like connect with it to like rest and heal physically wise. Like she can conform with the nature. Just like, yep, this plot of grass here, I'm connected to it now. I've laid my roots. I'm here now until I decide to come up.
I like that.
But that would also
That
mean
sounds
that
kind of like sexual assault. Not gonna lie.
yes, she is
Not
sexually
sexual assault.
assaulting your lawn. Walk away from her.
I mean, I don't have a lawn. My lawn looks like no man's land. But
Why are you on my grave? Stop fucking my grave.
Because she's part ground. Why wouldn't she fuck the ground?
Away with you. Our attorney has to roll above a 2.
She probably prefers it than people.
Here's the definition of
I
invention.
know
The
mushrooms
action
tend
of
to
inventing something,
grow on
typically a process or device.
dead things. But would you please get off of my test subjects?
But his nutrition, I must have it.
Sir William
is-
notices
Here's the definition
you
of
fucking the
creation.
ground. He
He
pulls
is-
The
out his
action or
lute.
process
He
of
plays
bringing
a
something into
very
existence.
disappointed chord.
He
at
is
you.
full of deadly poison. How are you even growing on him?
I was actually going to comment on that because of her living off of nature medically, nutritionally, and physically. I would imagine that she's immune to natural toxins and things and poisons. If it's man-made, that would be a different story. But
Oh, yeah.
natural things, I would
Dnias
imagine
does
that
does not use natural poison. He
Yeah.
makes this stuff himself.
But yeah, I
Um,
imagine.
So every turn I have to roll above a 2 or higher in flashy, and I get a -1 every time I'm attacked for my session thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's okay.
Nick said that you guys are up to 5 whole viewers.
God damn.
My God.
To be fair, I do have it open on my computer in the background.
Wait, what? I'm curious.
I would like to see.
I've been
We're streaming the,
this, yeah.
You are streaming. I understand.
You weren't here when we talked about it.
We're down to
Let's
3
not-
then, Nick. Because I'm
I
also
scared them
having-
away. Where
Here,
is the
I'll take-
stream? Oh, there's the stream.
Shredded it.
5 now.
3.
5.
2 whole viewers.
Oh my god, I can hear my voice.
I know I don't like it.
I sound annoying.
I don't know what I sound like.
You can have a listen to yourself right now.
I'm trying, but sound isn't playing through Twitch apparently. I can't hear shit from Twitch.
One whole viewer.
Got
Okay,
6 whole viewers now.
Negative
Yay.
1 viewer.
Who's the viewer? Can we figure it out? Is it just some random person?
Well, the real reason like I'm streaming it is because I was just gonna record them and put them in like an archive channel or something, so we all can just go back and watch
Yeah.
the videos and stuff. But also, like
I'm
if
just
Murderous,
making anyways.
yeah, if Murderous didn't show up, he could have went back and watched the video. That's what we talked
Yeah.
about.
By the way, I chose her name. I chose my character's name. It's gonna be Lepiota.
Can I make a stunt that rolls 2 rolls at once and just adds it together?
What does that mean?
Like, what are you doing with it?
It's flashy and forceful. Because I'm smacking a man with a lute while playing my chords on his skull.
Oh, like when you make a forceful roll or a flashy roll, you can add the other into the roll, the bonus as well, to get like a better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that seems okay. I mean, it. Yeah. Because it would be like a, but it would have to pertain to making it make sense, right? Like I'm gonna sing on him. I want to use forceful as well. It's like why? Because just cause, right? Like playing a guitar while hitting someone with it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so would that be use every other time?
It can be a passive. You can use it all the time.
Okay.
If you wanted to justify just playing your guitar or lute, you could always say that the sound waves themselves act as a force against the person.
Yes, but I'm a knight errant. I put a blade on me lute.
Yeah. So the idea is like usually you get a +2, a flat free +2 bonus when you do something, right? Like when I flashily attack with my guitar, I get a +2, right? Because the stipulation would be flashily and with my guitar. So this way, it's like when I flashily attack with my guitar, I can add my strength or my forceful, or when I forcibly attack, like you can add your It'll be a 2 or a 3, but then the stipulations is you doing that kind of thing, right? Like, it has to make sense. It has to make sense for both of them to get the bonus. So it's like a little bit more of a stipulation, but you get a little bit more of a bonus, potentially.
So
I
when
did
do
have
a
a-
flashy attack with my guitar, or when I do a forceful attack?
Both. It would be both. When you do a flashy or forceful attack with your guitar, you can add the other as well, or something like that, right?
For the drone's becoming unmovable. Would I make that thing?
About unmovable?
If I would when my drones are stationary, I can make them immovable.
That can be part of the first ability.
Right.
For the swingy thing, because the swingy thing's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
The idea is they become immovable when you're swinging on them, so I guess that kind of makes sense. The same thing, pretty much.
I think I could also use them as since I could just make them immovable, then I could use them to restrain someone.
Yeah, I guess, kind of. Sure. Like it would have to be an ability or something to do that.
Yeah.
So you want to say like they're immovable, and then you can utilize those to do things because they're immovable.
Yeah, something like that.
Like that can technically be a scene to set up, I guess, because like them being stuck or not, or restrained, pretty much. So you can just you don't even need to have that as an ability. Technically, you can just do that.
All right.
That'll just be you setting a scene. Like for your action, you'll just direct the drones to pretty much, or your little guys to I guess sit on someone or push them on their shoulders or wrap around. I don't know, right? Like
Yeah.
If you succeed the roll, then they're restrained. We will get bonus +2s to them while they're restrained.
So in extras, is this where I'd put things like creates her own weapons and clothing out of natural products?
That's whatever you want to write. Yeah,
Huh?
that's whatever you want to write. I don't use any of the sheet, but yeah, that's the only thing you need up to is the stunts, consequences, and stressor when you get hurt. Extras is just anything else you want to write.
Okay. Well, you were also saying something along the lines of like, if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. So if I write it down,
But
it
extra doesn't count as anything. Like that doesn't count as part of that. If it doesn't write down, it exists. Like it has to be a stunt or an aspect to bring it into the world, pretty much. Extras can just be whatever else you want to write down. So, because again, the idea is we each have so much stuff. Like we each have so many things we can utilize to get what we want, right? So, like having a blank box for anything that we want is kind of unfair, right? Because this gives us infinite now. We have to utilize our stunts and aspects to give us cool shit. That's pretty much it. You can write down your story down there so we can reference things like why you are X, Y, and Z. We can read it down there for clarification, basically.
Okay. So then. Okay.
Middle English.
So I changed one of my aspects to Smokescreen is my greatest creation and the only okay human now that she is an android.
Should I put an aspect that you created, or is it just fine that you have it?
It's fine that I just have it, but I mean, if you wanted something cool there, you could, you have a chance to do something. Like it's just like making it true that I created you and I'm okay with you now, and there's a reason why, right? So if you want to do something like, because she created me, she can fix me or something like, right? You can write something down that allows you to get something kind of from the aspect, make something true.
Alright.
I do have a workshop secret, super secret place. I guess you would know about or something. I think I'm also building the giant like Gundam Power Ranger droid underneath there somewhere, so we can fight a giant monster one day.
Sorry, I was starting to fill up my sheet. What were you saying?
I was just saying, like, talking to Sin about my secret place, I guess, there's a hideout that I have.
Okay.
Do you want to have anything else? Anything they've done?
I think I'm good. From the DM's point of view, I'm just going to read over the entire core rulebook a few more times.
I might need some help with my stunts, but I'm basically currently just like figuring out what I think her stats should be, I guess.
Can
Her
I get a
approaches.
once a scene stunt?
Can you what?
How well balanced would a once a scene stunt where I just buff everyone be?
So if you want to try to think of a balancing thing, so once per session could be really strong. Once per scene, I say a fair one is an action surge, basically, like getting extra action pretty much. That's a pretty decent once per scene. And the passive ones are like a +2 bonus to something. So what think of something that you feel is worth the value of an action surge.
An action surge. I was thinking I could give everyone like a +1 or something, or a +2 on their next roll.
So
Or
the way you do things is the more stipulations you add, the stronger you can make it, right? So you're like, when I play a song, I make a blank roll. If I succeed, I give everyone blank. If I succeed even better, I give them even more. Blah blah blah. Right? You add as much as you want to give even more stipulation.
okay.
The harder it is for you to do it, the better you can make it. Pretty much.
Can
So if
all
I get,
stunts
like,
be versatile? Like in the sense of like having multiple things to it, like spores. I can create the spore, some spores that create a toxic fume around me that when
Yeah.
inhaled it does
So
damage and yada yada yada.
So the way I do it is this isn't like a added book, but the it's I like this way of doing things. So you can like I would say a good stunt will be a 10 out of 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10 it'll be a 10, right? But if you're like, well, I don't really have a good 10, but I have two good 5s, right? You can put those both down as one stunt, right? If they make sense, right? Now, let's say you have like an 8, a 2, a 7, and a 3. Like, well, that's a 20. That's 2 stunts. You can just write all those down as one stunt and count it as a level 2 stunt, and it'll count as 2 of your stunts basically. So if you notice how I have inventions level 3, that's technically 3 stunts for all that crap that I have. And throughout the game, when I level, I might make it better or add more to it or whatever, right? And just add more and more
Okay.
stuff to it. You can have this one really big stunt or something like that, right? Like this.
Yeah, like my big stunt is my infection ability. In like there's various stipulations on how I can use it.
Hmm.
It's once per scene. I have to roll. I have to succeed with style against good opposition. Though if like I have to be rolling to like create an advantage or something like that. But if I happen to like roll, like a 6 or something, I can be like, okay, I forgo that and use this instead. Yeah. And then the various things, like I can only use total organ failure once per session. Like that's my big thing, because it's essentially an attack with clever that they can't defend against.
Okay.
And like Neurax Worm, I changed Brain Parasite a bit. It's a remainder of the scene thing, but on the target's turn, like you two both like roll contested clever, and and whoever wins controls the target's actions for that turn.
And will we eventually get more stunts?
So every time you level, you can get a stat point or a refresher, and you can lower your refresher by 1 to get additional stunt. Basically, every time you level, you get a stunt or a stat.
Okay.
And I have it.
Then-
I used to say we level every other session, but Paige can. I don't know if she has a way how often she wants us to level.
I'll probably stick with that unless you come
Yeah.
up with a better
We
idea.
can do every 3 sessions. It depends on how long you think we're gonna go.
All right. I honestly don't know, because I think how long we go is really up to the players for the most part.
Sure.
So I think we'll stick with every 2 sessions unless something changes. I come up with a better idea or decide that this is going to go for a year or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because the idea is like you can only get like 5 to a stat, and it gets very boring when everyone has +5 to all their stats or like 30 stunts and stuff like that. So I say maybe we should do every 3 sessions we level just to start with, and we'll see from there, I guess.
All right. I would like to say before we start heading off, if we're about to start heading off, just message me about your characters. I can fill in any world building or stuff like that. Ask me questions or give me ideas, even because the entire world isn't built, so I could always go for some more ideas on what to add, what to do, all that stuff. But I think you guys have the basis of what the world is like and what your characters are going to be like. So just ask me for role play, world building stuff, and until I know the game really well, ask Spike for technical stuff.
Yeah. We'll keep going with the scene until we get everyone have like I guess a base, and then I'll show you a quick little combat thing. So you know
Okay.
what? Yeah, and or like I guess I'll just see what everyone has now, and then I'll show you a combat so you can kind of get a gist of how combat works, so maybe it'll give you a better idea of how how to make a character, I guess. Gamers I think are good with our characters, but is Sin, do you have anything new you want to just ask or say or anything cool?
Not yet.
Moses,
Just trying to fill in the stuff.
Moses, do you have anything new?
I'm kind of just reading through yours and Alex's stunts for like a little bit of inspiration.
template.
But
you
should
can
I
look
put,
in-
like undead anywhere?
What?
I mean,
Because
that's.
I'm a skeleton and I
Oh,
saw
oh.
full organ failure, so I was
Oh, here.
wondering.
I'll give you a stunt idea right here. Just give you one. You play a song that raises the dead around you to give you like mooks that you control for a little bit. There's one.
You
Is
want
that a
necroman-
once a scene thing or once a session thing?
That's probably it. I mean, that's your choice to make, but I would say it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, but also like how powerful you want it to be, and is that a thing you want? Do you want something like that to raise the dead?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that Sir William would be a solo act.
Those are his backup dancers.
No, he in the backstory, I made a fucking stupid reference to the coffin dance, and he's famous for the chivalric song, "The Dance of the Coffin." So actually, I think I might edit things a bit. So once a scene, he could summon skeletons to, I don't know, grab enemies and maybe deal damage and...
I beg you, have them fight with trumpets.
Oh! No, not trumpets, but medieval horns.
Good enough.
No, they'll go, but more mightily. They'll be like... Some of them will have flutes, just so he can play through the fire and the flips.
Yeah, and the song that you play when your skeletons show up, Resurrection by Erection. That powerful song, yes, Resurrection by Erection.
Sadly, there will be no vocals.
Yeah.
He just pulls out a flute and flutes out Resurrection by Erection.
Then you all notice that he somehow has a skelebaner, despite being a
My
skeleton.
God. The power of Christ is truly a fearsome thing. So yeah, do you think you can look over my things, Spike, and we could like
We can't see your
I
things.
can't see your things. Like if you're writing them in your sheet, I can't see them unless you write them on your bio and info. Because I don't have DM powers or anything.
Okay. I'm gonna go live real quick.
What is a scene?
Anything that we're in. So basically, if we're like, okay, our plan is to break into this complex or this building of some sort to get to the top floor of the bosses and beat them up and take all their shit or whatever, right? And get his information or something, whatever, right? Some random thing. So we're okay. So the DM can be like, you're outside the building. What do you do, right? This is a scene. So like, how do you get into the building? How do you do all this stuff, right? Like, well, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Whatever you do, right? And then you get into the building or on the roof of the building or somewhere else, right? So the roof of the building might be a different scene because there might be guards up there and then we have to fight the guards. Then once we get into the building, we get to his office, that'll be a different scene, right? Each of these will be different scenes. So they're kind of like D&D, how you're like, okay, we're going to do a thing, then we need to take a short rest, then we do a thing, we take a short rest, we do a thing. So basically, they just clear automatically. That it is in 4th edition, it was a lot better. I hate the whole short rest, long rest thing. I rather the whole, once per encounter, it used to be called once per encounter in 4th edition.
Alright.
So there you go, once per scene, it's the same thing pretty much. But a scene is not just combat, right? It can be anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, is it okay if you like help me out here, Spike?
Yeah, sure.
I'll need help with my stunts as well.
I was thinking if I start resurrecting the dead, I could have instead of a -1 to every time he is attacked, he has he would have like 4 backup flutists that would have to be defeated.
So like a living shield. Well, not living shield.
Do you want them to be like a backup like band that they just make your stuff stronger while they're playing with you, or do you want them to be fighty guys?
They're a backup band.
Do you want them to buff you or buff us, or what do they do? What do you
They
want them to
buff everyone. They
Okay.
play when Sir William calls them into battle, which is the
do?
chance
So what
buff.
you should do is here's how this will work. This will actually be the easiest thing to do with this. So let's just say when you activate them, you summon. Well, let's not put a number on it yet. You summon some skeletons, right? You summon some guys to help. These guys have their mooks. They have 1 HP, and the only thing they can do is take the help action. Basically, what the help action is, they just give +1 to something when someone does something. The idea is they'll give the help action by playing their trumpets, pretty much. So we can say you summon 4 of them. That means you can give +1 4 times per turn, pretty much, right? You can split it up to whoever you want, right?
+1 for how many skeletons exist.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a roll when they come out to see how many you get, or you make a flashy roll, that's how many you get?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, it still says Sir Wilhelm instead of Sir William. Yep,
Sir Wilhelm.
Sir Wilhelm.
And that would be 3 stunts, so you'll be good.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of changing in Igne Flamme to he summons 4 to 8 skeletons, and each one has to be individually destroyed before he can stop playing.
Yeah, there'll be... Wait, what? Oh, you mean the first one? Wait, what is that? Why would you change all that?
Man, actually, no, never mind. So it's okay. The first one.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess Paige or Sage isn't here, so guess we'll just show the combat then. Okay, so yeah, I don't have any way to put tokens to do anything else, so I mean, I guess I'll just roll my dice, because
If you want, I can quickly add in the tokens right now.
sure. This is what else.
Alright. Let me just find them.
I can give you a macro too, so I can help. So I basically I'll just fight something that you fight, and then I'll give you a macro for like a DM macro, pretty much.
Alright.
Let me see if I can find it.
So a mook has 1 HP and can assist.
Yeah, basically they're just there to take the help action on their turn. I'll just take their.
Can my skeletons? Do my skeletons like help everyone, or can they only help one person at a time?
They only help. So basically, they use their turn to help someone. Every turn they can help one person to give them a +1. Basically, you have a +4 bonus to separate as much as each turn, basically. So you can give one person a +4, each 4 people a +1, you know. You decide how it wants to you separate it, right? And the idea is you choose to help, like, as a reactions, kind of. Like, someone can be like, oh, I'm trying to push this guy, and then, like, oh, they rolled a 3, and the other guy rolled a 4. Like, cool, 2 skeletons help you, +2, now we have a 5, they have a 4, we win the fight. We win the push, right?
Two skeletons blow their horns at you. You are filled with inspiration.
Yeah. Which how it works.
One. And I think a way to make that stronger, if I can use a stunt point to make a stunt one more stronger, right? Like already stronger.
What?
What? Stop. Brain fart. When we level up, I can just make a stunt stronger, like.
Yeah,
right?
you can use more stunts to make it even stronger, yeah.
So
It'll be level 2.
So I can make the dance of the coffins instead of like a skeleton being a mook that helps one person. They all just automatically help everyone, like later on or something.
I don't know what that means. Help everyone.
Like
It'll be +4
like
every turn to everyone. No, I'll be really strong.
Yeah.
I think it means like I think it means like they can help other people, or
You can already help other people.
No, I mean like if I put enough stunt points.
Well, yeah, I mean the best thing to do is you summon more skeletons.
+5 the skeletons.
You just get more and more skeletons to help more and more people, right?
So yeah, I don't really think I have anything else.
I just about got all the pictures uploaded.
Would another trouble be a skeleton? Freaks out some people.
What will you need, Spike, for a fight?
I don't need anything. I mean, you can just throw a picture up and say I'm hurting this thing. I mean, I technically don't even need it. Oh, that like I don't necessarily need it, but yeah, you should I guess put those up for reference things.
All right. You're fighting this thing.
Okay, I'm fighting
Plant monster.
Yeah, I'm fighting Vraska. You would see her in the Ravnica game. She's the leader of the Gakari. Wait a minute, I'm making a macro.
We're gonna do a mock fight, Sage, just so he can show us what it's like.
I'm not ready because I don't.
No.
Like,
You're just Spike is gonna fight a mob or something. You're just gonna watch him.
You can understand how it flows, so it might help you with making things.
Okay.
Okay.
What in the world is all that?
Open those curtains. Eyes buttered.
What was this? I swear.
Keep your eyes buttered, Sen. Blame Millie, not me.
Well, while Paige sets that up, this is like I wrote down the names of what I wanted as far as stunts go, but I don't know how to write them out. So I have spores, which would be the things that she can like send out into the air. I wrote life speech, which this one I did start to think about. Like I was thinking like when she touches someone else, like a mushroom, like, you know, takes life from dead things, but she would take it from the creature that she touches. Then creation would be how she creates her mushrooms and her weapons and stuff out of natural products and stuff. And I think I'm okay with taking down a refresh and all that, and taking a 4th stunt and making it psychoactivity, which is like her turn, like, you know, psychedelic mushrooms. She like floods your system with them and can choose what kind of like ones that she's pumping into your system, controlling the visions that you see.
So okay, so you probably should have a stunt that is just an innate just do cool spore shit, right? Like this will be like basically like cantrips in D&D for spore stuff. So you can just have a bunch of cool, fun spore things, and then you might want to have another ability that's like all the big spore stuff. Like this is my big spore thing. So it would be like cantrips, and then another will be fireball, right? Like that would be like how your stunts will work, right? So you should probably gather up like all the fun stuff. You're like, this isn't really doing anything strong, and then but it's still fun or cool, right? And then you make a list of all the cool stuff you want, and then that can be one stunt. So once you gather all that, work from there, I guess.
Well, like I had an idea of what they would do. I just didn't have an idea of how to write them down or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Okay. So name it all again, because I was reading all these messages that people are typing in. Start with like just the abilities you want, like the basic gist of them.
With spores, since I've figured out that we will be able to add to them later on and level them up, for the time being, spores would just be being able to put toxic spores into the air that hurt an enemy.
Okay, so what do you, when you mean hurt enemy, you mean you want to deal damage with them?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need a stun for that. You can just do that.
Huh?
So if you're just trying to hurt a person, you can just do that. Anyone can do that with anything. Like I can say I run over let me give you an example of a battle in a warehouse. Let's say we're in a futuristic type warehouse. I can say, okay, there's probably a bunch of electronics around, like picking up big boxes and moving them around. I can say I run the computer, I hack into the computer to hack into the system to make one of the cranes, pick up a box and drop it on an enemy, right? I'm like, cool, you do damage to the enemy by the thing falling. That'll be a clever roll to hack into the computer. The box falls on them, it hurts them, you deal damage, right? Anyone can deal damage with anything they want, in any kind of way they want. Like you can say, I charge up my Kamehameha and I blast him, or even like I pick up a wet cardboard tube and I beat him in the head with it. No matter what you want to do, you can do it, and it deals damage, but it only deals damage to the one thing you're dealing, right? And then we figure out what stat fits to that. Now, if you want to do something cooler, like, okay, I want the spores to hit all the enemies on the battlefield, right? I'm like, okay, that can be a stunt, right? That can be something special, because that's not just hitting one enemy anymore, it's hitting a bunch
Well,
of
that's
enemies.
what I was meaning. I'm sorry if I didn't articulate that well enough. I meant for it to damage all enemies
Yeah.
around, because it's like it's going into the air. If it's breathed in, it would hurt you.
Yeah. So, what do you think this stat would be for these spores? Will this be
Give me a
a flashy, forceful? What is people breathing in spores?
Well, I was thinking maybe like either careful or clever, because the way that she'd have to either move her body, or like the way that she'd have to get the spores out would have to be kind of like,
Careful.
yeah, careful.
Okay. Yeah. So you can have like once per scene, I can whenever I attack, carefully using my spores, I hit all enemies in the zone.
Okay.
With the attack. So that means if there's like 5 enemies, you hit 5 enemies. If there's 2 enemies, you hit 2. If there's 50, you hit 50.
Sure.
I sort of had the idea of having Smokescreen's gas mask doing something. Could I what could I do with that? Because I was thinking but the like toxic, like for example, Alex's toxic stuff that like goes around the entire place. That just magically doesn't hurt us, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So I was just wondering what I could do with
I mean, if he
it
has
for
it
that.
written that says everyone in the zone gets hurt, then everyone in the zone gets hurt, right? Doesn't
I mean, that's the thing. I don't have anything for directly hurting people, so other than total organ failure, it's essentially a scene setting thing. Like, oh, there's toxic gas everywhere. You can utilize it.
Yeah. So what do you? I guess you were trying to say like the mask can protect you from that stuff, but it doesn't need to protect you because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what else could I sort of use the gas mask for?
Yeah, you can start a big stunt too, like just a bunch of stuff written on it. Like you can write just like Android, and it's write down random things you can do because you're an Android. Like I don't need to breathe, right? Or I don't need to sleep, or I don't need to, right? Just it's a bunch of cool stuff, right? That you want to have because you're an Android. Or I don't need to eat. I don't know what else, right?
Okay. So how about life siege, which I was thinking could be like pulling pulling their life force or something from them, like how like I was saying, like kind of how a mushroom would absorb life and energy from the decay underneath it.
Like, do you want to absorb decay from someone else's life, from the grounds? Like, what are you trying to angle with this?
I was saying like she'd have to be touching them and would be able to again deal damage, but I was thinking maybe this would be like actually like just killing them because you pulled all their life out of them.
Yeah, what are you trying to gain life from this? Are you trying to do more damage with this? Are you trying to what are you trying to do mechanically?
I was thinking either both deal damage and take some life from them.
So you can
Like
have
gain health from them, I guess.
you can have a passive that says like whenever you hurt someone you can gain that you can drain life, kind of like you can gain half the life back as health, right?
Mm.
Or like as a passive you just gain like 1 or 2 hit points back whenever you, because I mean we don't have very much health, so just having an ability to like just say I absorb 1 hit point whenever you hurt is actually still pretty good. It might not sound like a lot, but 1's a lot because if we only have like 16 health. And it's really strong to remove things.
Like you can remove a 2 or a 4 wound or one of your stresses or something, you know.
Yeah. I forgot who I had that. I think it was a newer ability that I had. I think it was from Doctor that I had up there. That it was you were able to remove a 1 if or lower a consequence by a 1, like by 1 if or lower your stress by 1 or something like that. Like if you have a 2 you can bring it to a 1, things like that. So yeah, we can work on a heal thing if that's what you're trying to do, like a heal for yourself, like just a way to heal yourself. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because you have the consequence of like, or the stipulation that it only works on you, and you have to drain it for someone else. So that it can make it stronger that way, right? Because the other ways, like I had it where it was I had a character that could heal people, right?
Well, I'm not sure how to like.
So what you want to do is, I guess, whenever you, because you can just say like I walk up and touch someone with my hand and have poison all over it or spunk and it burns them, right? It's like acid or something, or it hurts. And
Well,
then
that's not exactly how I was thinking about it. I was thinking.
but
About
I'm saying that in general, just like that can be a thing you could do, right? Like it's something you could have done. So I'm trying to say like, and then whenever you do hurt someone by touching them, you can also absorb from it.
Okay.
I assume you have to touch them, right, to absorb from them.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And then, but you're also wanting to damage, right?
Yeah.
So like you can already damage whenever you want. So you're just adding the heal ability and the stipulation of you have to touch them. So we're trying to say like, oh well, how do you hurt someone by touching them, right?
Okay.
Also might want to bring everything down a couple because we're gonna need room between the guys.
Huh?
On the page.
Yes.
Might want to bring the each have a little room in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people don't get confused.
Yeah, like in between here and here, like a couple of like a space.
All right.
You can make the tokens longer technically. The art longer or whatever. But yeah, so like the idea was is you just have to make up a reason how you're hurting someone by touching them.
Well, I was thinking like them touching them was pulling life from them. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, you're trying to like. I'm just saying you're limiting yourself. Just touch them in any kind of way and deal damage to them, and then you can just heal them another way. So that means you can heal just by touching anyone in some kind of way. So like I was saying that yeah. So if you want to connect all in one thing, like as a stunt, you can just pull and hurt. That's fine.
I don't know. I'm just kind of confused now.
I guess you could just write it as a passive, like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Personal attack. you regain all you gain HP from equal to damage dealt.
Shouldn't be damage dealt. That'd be too much. That'd be like dealing double damage
Yeah.
every turn, basically.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, like just healing for one's good enough. Like whenever
Yeah.
you deal damage, healing for one, it's good enough.
Oh yeah, because health doesn't work here. It works like stress and mild consequences and stuff.
Yeah. Like you might only get hit for one, and then you hit them back, and you hurt them, and then you heal for one. It's like you just negated their attack and then hurt them, and you can do that every turn. So like it's pretty good still.
Yeah.
So you're gonna try as a passive, like whenever I physically hurt someone, I heal for one.
Okay.
Wait. So maybe if I could change like my passive to be more supportive. If I do a forceful or flashy attack with my loot, can I also take the help action? Like I give +1 to someone.
Yep. Yeah. That's what usually. Yeah. If you notice, a lot of my characters have the help action stuff.
Hmm.
I have one that's called. It's just called helpful. Like it just allows me to take the help action an additional time. Instead of adding a +1, they could add a +2. I can help for free once a turn. Like I had a bunch of different like levels of helpful. I had a bunch of different cool abilities to helpful.
Okay. But this is only when he uses the loot to smack or to play. So he may also take the help action. So when William does a flashy or forceful attack with his loot, he may also take the help action. That's
good,
right? Yeah, more supportive that way instead of just some weird thing. Let me just go sanitize my hands again.
Then the other two that I was working on were gonna be a little bit more complicated. Like creation, I was gonna be the way that she like creates her the little like mushroom things, and then also her weapons that she uses.
Okay. So what do you want these creations to do? They just want them to run around and like be able to interact with things, like hurt people a little bit?
Hurt people, or even just like be helpful hands, be I could create them at different sizes, so that way like a small one could be sneaky and go like, walk down a hallway without being seen.
That would probably be its own stunt then, if you want to have all these different things to it. Because like it could have been like you can just summon basic mooks that just have like 1 HP and they hit for like basic damage. But if you want them to have like one of them can be sneaky, they can be different sizes, blah blah blah, right? And they have their right, so it's like a tool belt, right? Like that can be a good stunt, just to be able to summon a bunch of cool shit.
Okay, but how do I do this?
Yeah. Let's say, maybe 3 times per session. That seem good. 3 times per session, you can summon a little guy, and then you have it till it dies, or it dies at the end of, I guess, the session. Like they slowly age throughout the day, I guess, and then return to the earth.
Maybe they only last a day.
Yeah, like day, like they don't have like day stuff. Like it's like session stuff, right? So they last.
I mean, while I may only be able to do it 3 times a session, maybe they only last a day in game. Is what I mean.
The time skips really weirdness. Like a day can be like a few seconds. Like it's weird. Like so that's why I was saying like they do it by sessions. So like this way it would be like they grow, they age throughout the session, right? Some of them last longer. Some like depends on how long the session lasts or how many days last in the session, right? And they eventually return to the earth. And then like you can summon them again later or something. Like they come back, they reborn like a phoenix or something like that, and you can name them if you want.
So far, all I've written was the 3 times per session you can summon a mushroom creature.
Yeah, seems fine.
Okay.
You can kind of create them like right. So the idea is, I think they'll be like 1 health mooks with so when you create a mook, they're good at 2 things, so they get +2 at 2 things, and they get -2 at 2 things, and then they get a flat 0 to everything else. So when you summon them, you'll be like, this one's good at stealth, so he has +2 to stealth, and good at stabbing people in the back, so he's a sneaky little stealthy guy. +2 to stealth, +2 to sneaky, right? And he's also very weak, so -2 to strength, and he's not very flashy, so -2. Right? You pick 2 things, right?
Okay.
Whenever you
Wait,
summon them,
so
they get that.
mooks are have a +2 in one thing and a +1 in one thing?
If the mooks are different depending on what mook.
So
Well-
what would my skeleton mooks be?
Probably nothing. They're just gonna take the help action.
Okay.
So this is what I have so far for my stunts: is spores. Once per scene, you can carefully use your spores to attack all enemies around you, dealing damage. Life Siege: passively, when you deal damage, you heal for 1. Creation: 3 times per session, you can summon a mushroom creature, and then I put in parentheses mooks, so that way I knew, like, reference-wise,
Yeah.
you guys could help me with that. And then my last one that I wanted to do was psychoactivity, which I'm, again, not sure how to do that one because I wanted it to be able to, like, I don't just want it to be, this isn't going to be, like, something damage-wise. This is something that, like, I can create either really nice, like, visions where, like, people are really calmed and they're just, like, you know, like, as if they had taken mushrooms, seeing things. And then other ones would be like, well, that enemy now sees horrors around him chasing him and that kind of thing.
At the start, you only have 3 stunts, and you can lower your refresher up to 2 to get up to an additional 2 stunts.
Yeah, I get, so if I lower refresh to 2, I get an additional 2 stunts.
Additional 1 stunt. You can lower your refresher
Okay,
up.
that's what I was talking. Okay,
you
yeah,
can't go
then
below 1 refresher.
I understand that. Yeah, so 1 refresher is equal to 1 stunt.
Yes.
In other words.
And now you
Then
have
yeah,
a
I
3
have no
refresher,
problem lowering my refreshed from 3 to 2.
and you get another stunt if you do that.
And that's what I want my psychoactivity to be. But I don't know how to word that out either.
That's the one that's just going to make them hallucinate on mushrooms, or what was the other ones?
Huh?
What was the other things you said about the hallucination stuff?
I wanted it to be like 1 stunt of, like, I get to like, I can control which mushrooms toxins I'm pumping into a person's system, so I can basically control which type of visions they will see.
Okay, so you want to basically create kind of false visions for what they see, pretty much, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a weird one, right? Because we don't know what this can do, right? Like, you're like, I put a giant dragon in front of them, and everyone runs away from the giant dragon, right? Because they think it's a dragon. So
Some of them, yeah.
yeah, so I think it would be let's say once per scene, you
Mhm.
can cause someone to make you can make a clever roll or a careful roll. I guess it'd be careful, right?
Yeah.
Sure. It'll be your careful contested by their careful, and if you succeed, then you get them, right. You get to do whatever bullshit you want to them.
So how do I write this out? So far I have, you can make a careful roll, and then I guess just contesting
Yeah, and
my targets.
I think it should just be it should only be one thing. If you want it to be like all the enemies, then it should be like once per session.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying, like, you can make a careful roll contesting your target, as in, like, 1 person.
Oh yeah, I'm asking
Singular
like,
target?
what do you want? Do you want it to target multiple people or just one person? Because, like, again, it has to be balanced.
I would only do, like, 1 person at a time.
Okay, so yeah, so once per scene. So once per scene, you can target a creature and make a contested clever roll against them. If you succeed, you're able to show them hallucinative visions or whatever, because they're infected by yourself. You can write the last part however you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say it lasts to the end of the scene, so they just have it for the rest of the scene until they're dead or unconscious or they run away from the scary stuff you show them.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, son.
Still there.
Haha, you have to
Yeah.
go look at children.
I'll say, do
Makes
you
sounds so much
sorry,
worse.
because like she's the one that needs to finish because everyone else is done, I think, now for that.
Yeah, I think we're good for the most part. Would you say I set it up correctly? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, people are a little fat.
I'd say make this token a little bit taller.
Yeah,
I
there's
can- I
really
can make
room in
mine.
between them.
I have a skinny
William is
token.
now short.
I have a long token too if you'd rather do it that way.
No, it's fine. I can do it like this.
Well, yeah, you can have room in between them, but like it's much clearer when there's room between like the little marker things. Having the tokens be up against one another, it's fine like that because people can still tell what is what.
Hmm.
Yeah. So with those X's, you have to give us control of them, pretty much. Green X's.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to make like a character sheet, and then make the X the picture of the character sheet, and give us all control of it.
Okay, 1 second.
Token of the yeah, the token, I guess. I guess it could be either one. It should be fine.
All right, should have it. Okay, it's a bit small because for some reason it always edits it to be super small.
Mine's real small. Oop.
Yeah. How do I make it so it knows that it should be bigger?
You just have to save it while it's bigger.
All
When
right.
you have to drag one to the board, make it the size you want it, and then save it as a token.
That was spooky.
It's still
Click the corner of it and drag it to make it bigger, like more than one square.
Yeah. That's about big enough.
You can just, if you hold Alt, it doesn't snap to the grid. You can make it the exact size you want.
Oh, right.
Put it in the box and then measure it, like, to the box.
Yeah.
Also, you put some of these on the wrong sides, like
I did. Oh.
yeah, like these things, because some of them are flipped around the wrong way. The little box
Right.
is supposed to be facing inward towards the player.
Yeah, it's
Right,
right.
yeah,
You have the whole week to deal with it. Yeah. We just need to do it quickly for the. You didn't really need everyone. I just need like me or something. Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Save changes. Nope.
Click on the box you have. Click on that one. Just click on it so you have it selected. And now, while it's selected, go to the sheet. Click Edit on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And then under the picture, do you see where it says Select Token or whatever it says, something like that?
Yep.
Click that.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
And then I pull it out, and it's still too small.
It shouldn't do that. But wait, what grid are we on? Are you on the map layer or the?
I'm on the objects and tokens layer. I put the pictures of the things in the map layer so they stay static.
I don't know. I would have to see what you're doing, but it should work.
I will. Swear we've had this problem before. Let me try just making it excessively big.
You should have it on the
Uh,
token layer. Is it on the token layer?
It is on the token layer, yes.
Okay.
Use selected token. All right, save changes. I'm gonna drag it out. It's bigger, but still smaller.
That's weird.
I'll figure it out. I guess I just make it a tad bigger and then.
Sure. Yeah.
What happens if you guys drag it out?
Be whatever you say. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I'll just do the quick comment, I guess, just to show you. Okay. So this isn't going to be like a roleplay thing or anything like that. I'll just go step by step explain how this works. So let's say my character gets into combat with this character. We both roll quick. So I got a 3, and they'll roll their quick. So Paige, in the chat, I posted something. I'll post it again.
All
This is a macro you can roll. You want to do with this to make it even easier. Go to the cogwheel.
Okay.
Not the cogwheel. The next to cogwheel. The one at the top with the 4 lines and the 4 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right underneath there it says this macros and it says add.
Okay.
Just hit add.
Then add the command line and then a name. What
Name
should I
it and
name
then
it?
actions is type. Yeah, just put that macro in it.
All right.
And yeah, if you scroll down to the bottom, it says show as token action. So check
Show as token action. Yep.
If you click that, it should put it in the bottom left of your screen.
Okay.
Oh.
Bottom left of my screen. Hold on, I honestly don't see it. I guess my Roll20 is just.
Oh, it's token. Oh no, don't worry about that. Don't check that. My bad. Uncheck that
Okay.
and just save it. And then now it should say next to the macro, it should say in bar.
All right. Oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
And then just put in a number and.
Yeah, that'll be its stat. Yeah, put whatever number you think it should have.
All right. So is it okay if it just named roll? I just need to define what stat they're rolling, or should I make
I
a
just have it
separate
as
one
roll.
for each?
You can just name it as action or something. I just have it as roll for now because I made the macro. I can make a better one later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
So I rolled a 3, and I guess it rolled a 2, or was that I didn't pay attention when I
Yeah, say they roll.
Okay, so that means I'll go first. So my character is going to shoot the character pretty much.
All right.
So she pulls out her big gun, she charges up, and she blasts it. So I have one of my stunts, one of my inventions is plasma railgun attack with clever. So my plasma railgun attacks with clever because it's one of my stunts. So instead of me attacking with forceful, I get to use clever. And my character's pretty good at clever. So I would roll my clever. I rolled a poor roll of 2 negatives and 2 zeros, so I rolled a 1. So now this person's getting attacked for 1 damage with my railgun. This NPC, I guess. So it's up to the NPC to try to defend in some kind of way. The NPC explains how they defend, and we decide how they're defending. So,
Okay.
do you want to describe this NPC and how they defend?
He just does a combat roll, rolls behind him a pillar in front of him.
So it'd be like a quick roll, right? So he's quickly rolling. Okay. Now with this macro, is this character good at quick, average at quick, or bad at quick?
I'd say he's average.
Okay. So he'll get a +0 to the roll. So you just
So
Let's say
it's a
it's a
stat +0.
It'll just be a +0.
All right.
I rolled a 0. Okay. So I rolled a 0. I rolled a 1. Right. So that means I'm dealing 1 damage to it. So
right.
move it over here to this side, like in one of these squares.
Move the
token.
this?
Yeah, let's move it over there somewhere. Yeah, we
Okay.
don't need tokens on the board. We just need yeah. So right now it has a few choices. So when the fight starts, the MC gets one fate point per player in the fight. So this bad guy technically has a fate point right now. So what you can do is you can use the fate point to give yourself a +2 to the roll, right? So bring that 0 to a 2, which means you will succeed, right? Because you would have a 2 and I have a 1. You can do that, or you can take the 1 damage and save the fate point, and by doing so, you would put an X in this 1 box because you've taken 1 damage. So you got to check your 1 box pretty much.
Okay, and that's where you'd put the X in it?
Yep, to know that you've taken that damage. The X is
Okay.
too big, so it's weird, right? Okay, now I took my turn, so now there's no other, people on my team, so it's your turn now. Now you describe some cool shit you're doing, and I'll tell you how I'm defending.
Sir
right.
William plays the Dance of the Coffins.
We're just gonna do one-on-one, don't worry about it. I'm just showing you how to, make it simple.
He just quickly peeks out from cover, takes a shot at the metal pan behind you and tries to bounce it off of it and hit you in the back.
Okay, so is this like a flashy or a forceful? It sounds like it's trying to be flashy.
Flashy, sure.
Yeah, is this person good at flashy?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you get a +2 to the roll.
All right.
0. Okay, so I'm gonna use my my energy shield. So as the shot comes up, I press some buttons on my little pocket watch thing, and a bubble goes around me, and I get to block with clever again. 1. Okay, so 0 to my 1. You deal no damage, but I didn't succeed by enough for anything else to happen. So you just deal nothing to me.
All right.
So my turn again. Same thing. I'm just going to keep doing this back and forth because my character's not super special with this, and I'm not going to try to get fancy with it. I'm going to shoot you again. Phew, big 3. Okay, got a 3. You quickly jump behind cover again.
Yep, I drop to the ground and just sort of get into a prone position, which again, he's just mediocre at quick, so it's +0. Why do I keep rolling the same numbers?
Okay. Well, the thing is, that's an average roll.
Okay.
Because the fate dice, there's 2 pluses, 2 minuses, and 2 zeros, so the average of a fate die is a 0. So all zeros and plus 0 0. So yeah, you've been technically rolling average.
All right.
I think you rolled average every single roll, right? No, except for the okay. So you're taking 3 now. So you can again use a fate point to get a +2, which will take it down to 1 damage, but that won't really help because your box is already checked. So now you can just check the 3 box if you want.
Oh, okay. So then, Control C. We'll just say those 3 are checked because this is way too confusing. What the hell did I just do?
Copy the
City
map.
number 2.
Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll figure out the whole thing with all that in a moment. I don't know why it's being all strange.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, if is the map on the map layer? Because if the X is on the
the map's on the map layer. I accidentally spawned that X on this layer, so
drag it to the token layer, should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's their turn again.
Okay. He just from his prone position takes a shot at you, just a normal shot. And let's say he's mediocre at what would he roll for this?
Mediocre is 0.
Just taking a shot.
They're good at 2 things, bad at 2 things, and average at everything else. So +2 2 things, -2 2 things, and 0 to everything else.
All right. I can't tell if I'm getting really lucky or unlucky for rolls.
You're getting really average.
All right.
Yeah. Let's anything. I'll since my shield's up and the shots are just coming, I'm just gonna quickly jump out of the way as well. Just do something different than just holding the shield up. So I'm gonna roll quick. 1. Okay, so 1 still beats your 0, so I'm still good. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep blasting away at your cover. Because I'm a blasty person, not really a Another 3.
All right. He does another roll and gets behind another piece of cover. Someday I'll roll higher.
It's another 3. Okay, So you're taking 3. So your 1 of your 3s are already checked. So you can do a few things here. So you're in a weird position. So if you check your 2, you still have to assign 1 damage somewhere. So you have to check both of your 2s, or you can check your 1-4, right? To accept all the damage. So what you could do is you can use your 1 fate point you have to lower the damage to 1, and then just check your 2 box to accommodate for the 1.
Okay.
See, the thing is, these down here are basically like temp hit points. They at the end of the fight, they just come back. These are nothing. These like you're full health pretty much while these are being checked still. These things mean I'm fucking you up. Whenever I hit one of these things and you check one of these, I get to describe how I'm fucking you up, right? I can be like, I blew off your shoulder, a part of your shoulder or something because of this, and now you have a hurt arm, like your arm can't function well or something, right? And whenever I do that, I can activate these things for free once, and say like, I'm going to target your arm so you can't defend as well, so I get a +2 to that roll when I do that. Pretty much that. And then as, you know, the more you get fucked up, the easier it is to beat you up pretty much. So that's kind of how that works.
All right. So yeah, I put an X on his 2, right?
Yeah, if you want to use your fate point.
All right. Yep.
They're pretty much all covered. Okay, and it's your turn again.
Okay. He stands up and shoots at you again.
Okay. 1. So what I'm going to do is what this fight is going to be very boring because we didn't set the scene or describe anything. So we're supposed to describe where we are and where we're fighting at, pretty much, right? So we can say let's say let's make it easier for me to make more creative stuff for my character. Let's say in a factory of some sort, right? So we can use the factory scene. And so what I would do cleverly is I'm going to quickly hack into the computer in front of me and just do some stuff on that to have something drop from the air that's being held up by something in front of me to block the attacks. So I'm going to quickly do this instead of cleverly do this because this is easy for me. I can do this easily, so I'm going to do it quickly. I got 2. Yeah, so I beat your 1.
All right. So how much damage should I take from that then?
Nothing. That was you attacking me.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just defending in a cool way, I guess, more than just hiding. Yeah. So again with the attacking, I only do it with my gun right now because there's no robots to take. So I'm going to just keep attacking with this. Another 3. I've technically been rolling average rolls too. Like a 2 would have been average and a 3 is average for these rolls.
Okay. I roll 2, drop down again, defend. Which I think I said he was mediocre at.
What? Yep. So 2. So your 3's checked technically right now, but you just haven't did it yet. So let's see. So you'll be taking 2. I can make it 4. I'm not gonna push any though. So yeah. So you would take your 2 box this time. Your 2 consequence. And I would say say the railgun got you in the shoulder, like I was saying before. So now you have a hurt arm, singed arm, melty arm, something like that. What you would usually do is you would type it in next to your 2 to describe what happened.
Okay. So just put another one in. Yeah, and then you type in that there's a singed arm or something. Yep. All right. Let me do that.
According to Healthline,
This is a cool way of writing this. Yeah, like that. So the idea is we know what it is. So the reason why you have to type this in is because technically this is an aspect on your body now. That means anyone can use a fate point and target your hurt arm to get a +2 to you.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but you can also do this on the battlefield, which I'll probably do next turn just to make something up.
I did it! I made it the right size.
Good job.
All right. So now it should
Now it's your
Draw
turn.
to be right. Yep, it's the perfect size now.
And you're 2. You're 4 and 6 is still good.
Yep.
Alright, it's your turn.
All right. I just take another shot. Let's say I do another flashy shot. I guess I do a front flip in the air and shoot while I'm upside down at you,
Sure, you're right. That's fair.
and then 2.
I'm gonna defend with my little thing this time because this looks like a scary shot. Ooh, big 4. Okay, so here something happened now. So I beat your roll by 2. Actually, it's not good enough. I need to beat by 3. Never mind. Don't worry about it. So if I would have beat it by 3, I would have succeeded with style, which means I would have gained a boost against you.
Okay. And a boost means
I get a +1 to defend against you next turn. Basically, you did so poorly at trying to attack me. I did so well at defending against you. Like I just see through your attacks right so well that I'm better at it now, pretty much.
all right. Okay, then I guess it's your turn.
So what I'm gonna do is trying to finish this off. I'm gonna like start building. So behind this little, I'm behind cover. I'm like grabbing the computer. I'm grabbing technology, and I'm doing something with this technology. I'm gonna assume that maybe I'm fighting against a human, even though it's like a gorgon or something, right? Because you're just shooting and flipping and stuff. So I'm going to use these pieces of technology that I created to throw this device out in the area. That's going to just electric fly the floor around you, pretty much. That's going to like
Okay.
shock some stuff, and yeah, just to do like the floors, yeah, electricity things. I was in the factory, but maybe there's like a fire hydrant thing behind you or something. So in the process of throwing this out, I'm also going to break that and throw the water on the ground and stuff to set out this like electrical floor thingy system. So what I'm basically describing, like, okay, you throw something at the pipe. It's not hard to shoot a pipe. This little device, well, the device is kind of clever, so sure, make a clever roll, right? And you'll set a DC. So this
All
thing
right.
isn't very hard to make because it's like just some pieces of technology to make lightning. Basically, I'm just breaking shit to make it like malfunction. So like you can probably say like, oh, you need a DC 2, right? You need to make a clever roll of a DC 2, like as a fair, because 2 is like a fair roll, pretty much. I got a 0, so that I failed this. Now, what could happen is I get to pick something. I can either create it, but then you get to use it, or I can just not let it happen, right? But I'm going to use a fate point. Like I'm going to use a fate point to say I'm a techromancer. Like I know technology. Like it wasn't going to work, but I was like, hey, come on, work. It's like I need to stop this. And like, oh yeah, cool, got you. And it gave me a thumbs up, and I threw it out there, and it worked. So I give myself a +2 to the roll for using a fate point, and now I needed 2. So boom, I got it. It now works now. So that was my turn to make that work. So now it's your turn.
All right. Could I just say I'm wearing electricity-proof armor or something?
No.
Or
So you don't have any of that stuff unless you came in with that stuff. You can't just say you have it now that this is out, and you
So
wouldn't
I-
want to do that anyway.
right, that I have electricity-proof armor beforehand.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that to players even if you could have it hiding. You don't want to just automatically counter whatever it is they're doing. You want to let it happen. You want to let pretty much everything. You want to do the opposite. You want to actually fall into the lightning. If anything, you're like, oh man, I was wearing lightning armor underwear for some reason. I don't know why, right? Like, make it more interesting or funny, right? You're not trying to win. You're just trying to, yeah.
I
The players do
mean,
cool
I
shit.
think like a situation where you could have a character be resistant to some things that the heroes are doing is like a
Yeah.
bounty hunter character.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we walked into something and they're like, the floor is rubber and they're made out of rubber and we're fighting tired people, it'd be like, yeah, this is stupid. And you'd be like, you fighting tired people. You've seen them. They were tired people. Why are you throwing lightning at them?
Yeah. Okay, so then I guess I roll to jump up on top of the.
The lightning's not doing anything to you right now. It's just around you and it's making you hard to be able to move around, pretty much.
Okay, then I just take another shot at you.
I'm going to, I don't know, activate my jetpack and quickly fly out of the way.
Wow.
Okay, cool. Did it. Okay. My turn again. So now that I'm flying in my air, I'm gonna do a big charge shot and try and blast the crap out of you. So Kamehame, and then my little robot's gonna come out, and like, or my assistant's gonna come out. And I'm gonna aim in my gun, and she's gonna hold the gun, like help me hold it while I'm blasting it. And I'm gonna take the help action with her ability. So 4 plus her help action, big 5.
The big 5.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try to end the fight in this turn. You gotta defend against 5. Paige.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just a tad distracted. I must admit.
Yep, everyone seems like they're distracted tonight.
Yeah. Just a lot of people are texting me. All right. So, yep, I just rolled 2.
Ooh, okay. So this is probably gonna be out. So okay. So you rolled a -2. So I'm gonna say the way I was shooting at you, you can only dodge in one way. And you had to dodge into the lightning. So the idea is you chose not to, and because of that you like paused for a moment, which gave me an opening. So I'm gonna activate the lightning to give me another +2 to the roll. So my roll goes from 5 to 7 right now. Okay? So that means the entire roll is you have to account for 9 damage. And if you check the 6, you check the 4, all your stuff checked, you're out, pretty much.
All right. So I'm dead.
You're dead, yeah. This will be a character dying. Now the thing is, at any time before you're dying, you feel like you're losing, you can be like, I give up, right? You say, I give up, I don't want to die, right? And any player can do this, any NPC can do this. If you do this, you don't die, but your opponent still decides like what happens to you, right? We capture you and bring you to jail because you're a bad guy, right? You go to jail. Yeah, that just happens, right?
All right.
But since I'm undead and the rules of chivalry state that I can't turn my back against the foe, which means like running away or giving up.
It's on you if you want to die or not.
Yeah. That's on you if you want to die or not.
Yeah, no, but is it okay if I
Also,
like,
no,
if
here's
I
the thing.
say it as like I'm too crippled to actually do anything?
Yeah, when you give in,
Like,
yeah.
into submission?
Giving in, it doesn't mean you surrender or run away or anything like that. It's just like you can't keep fighting, so you're not able to. Like,
Yeah, you're knocked unconscious or
okay.
something. Yeah.
Like in the last Fate game I played with Spike, like my character was what I gave in. Well, one of them did. He was able to split from his liquid metal endoskeleton. There were 2 of them. So his endoskeleton gave in, and like I just said, like he's too damaged. He went into a shutdown state.
Okay. So giving in's not like I give up, but it's like I literally can't do anything else.
Yeah, you describe what happened to you, and then you give in.
Okay.
Like if you know like the Quinn guy, he has a ability for giving in. Whenever he gives in, he smoke bombs and runs away. Pretty much, he disappears, so he can't be captured.
Okay.
I was thinking of doing that with toxin emitter, like just toxic gas everywhere. Good luck chasing me.
Yeah.
I got toxic gas.
Sage is deaf and mutant, so I don't know if he heard any of that. So I guess it was. I hope they can just know how to do it.
Yeah. When we level up for the first time, that's probably what I'll do with like my stunt point is like upgrade toxin emitter to do that, and then just like escape with a bad fart.
Oh god.
They're just so incapacitated by it. I ate nothing but bratwurst.
Oh.
I also would have targeted the broken arm, so I've been another +2.
No, I did do that.
Yeah. So like you set things up to get bigger rolls, right? Like I could have targeted your arm well, like another +2, so that'd have been 11 damage you would account for in the turn, and I'd be like, yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's my entire build is essentially to set stuff up.
Yeah, and mine was just going to be able to shoot and do things like that. That's why I said like people usually work together, groups usually work together. And I have a little bit of stuff, but mine's very tied to machine. So me just floating above a city because we didn't really describe where we are. Like I can't really do anything except for shoot my gun.
Yeah, like if I was in that little mock fight there, I would have been providing aspects and advantages, which would have made everything a lot easier. Like Scarlet could have taken advantage of my poison gas in the scene. Like knock the enemy into it, or use it to obscure them as they attack, or I could start making other aspects with my abilities and shit. Or fuck it, I could just make their organs not work.
Yeah. And also that was a weird scene because the thing that Scarlet was fighting was a weird combination of things. Because Mooks, if you look at the card, Mooks only have between 1 to 3 HP usually. So usually they die in one shot, right? They die in a hit. So they were using Mook stats, but they were using player HP. So if you were using player stats, you would get the same standard 2-1-1 or 3-2-2-1-1-0, right? Then you also would have stunts as well for that fighter thing. So it would have been a different fight. Like it wouldn't have been as easy as So yeah, that's kind of how a fight goes though. It works better when you set scenes and have locations. That's why I was saying you might want to grab some art to have background so we know where we're fighting at, so we can utilize what we see on in the area.
Yeah.
Or you can just have a blank screen, like a black screen, and you just tell like you're in an alleyway. Go. Whatever you think's an alleyway, tell me. It's also cool to do, it's fine.
Alright, gas service line. Puncture that, kaboom.
Yeah. You just explain where we are, then we go from there. Yeah. Sage, are you back?
She is back. In black.
It's not definite anymore, I don't know. Is she gone again?
Oh no.
Yeah. Seeing as everyone is distracted and there's no point in me saying this because I know I'm going to have to do it again and again and again next session, it seems like. We probably should stop since no one's paying attention or not really there.
I'm
Okay.
here. I'm sorry.
What I got was
I mean, Sin's not here and you are deafened and Paige is distracted and yeah.
Yeah.
I had a quick question though. This does not have to do anything with the campaign otherwise, except how did you get those pictures into like the bottom of your sheet to where people can view them and stuff? Like, how do you do that?
You have to have the picture somewhere on the internet, and you just right click copy and then you just click paste into your sheet and it just puts it there.
So what if I send them to Discord and copy image from there?
It'll work. It should work.
Okay, then
I've tried copying images off of like other stuff other than the internet. I've not tried Discord, but if you like download an image and try to copy and paste that, it won't work.
Yeah, it has to be somewhere online where
Yeah.
wait,
they can
so
find
where
it.
do you paste the picture real quick?
Into your character sheet?
In like name or like description?
Down in like your bio thing.
In your bio.
Yeah, like if you scroll down, you see Dnias without his suit, his little lab assistant robot, and his lab itself. Like, you know.
No, I mean like the picture for the roll thing.
That you just put that
Oh,
same thing. It's you just have to what's the formula? I think it's let me find it.
Extras is a skeleton. Skeleton man, skeleton man, skeleton man.
I gotta go honestly, so we should probably begin calling it quits.
So if you put a URL in the little circle box, and then you put that in chat, it would put the picture there. So if you make a macro and then interject it somewhere into the macro, it'll put it in the macro wherever that is.
Oh, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too much work.
Yeah, work. So yeah, but again, Paige, if you look up at the Cyclops House Bully, Steel Assassin, Sky Shark, Gang of Thugs, that's Mooks pretty much.
Okay.
I just love the Sky Shark's description. I don't know why. I just love it.
Sky Shark.
Skilled at flying, biting, bad at anything that isn't flying or biting.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
It's just dry humor. Dry humor's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Cyclops House Bully is like a Harry Potter themed one. Steel Assassins is a Cloak and Dagger one. Sky Shark is a steampunk sky one, and Gang of Thugs is whatever the other one is. And if you look up the 4 characters, the ones that are from the book, they are one from each of those genres.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah. So were you able to catch any of that, Sage, of how to fight in this game?
I got some of it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. There's no point in me doing it because I'm gonna have to tell it again next week to Sage and Sin and probably everyone else still.
I'm
I
sorry.
understand.
But from what I got, is it okay if I like try summing it up?
I guess,
Basically, you describe an attack and then you roll with like one of the approaches,
Yeah.
and then the other person reacts to that attack. Like,
Yep.
I dodge.
Yep.
And like, if you have like a lesser roll than the person who attacked, then the person who attacked succeeds in hitting you and stuff, right?
for that much damage. Yeah, whatever's carries over.
And if you have like a +3, I think in a roll, you did something with style.
You get a boost. Yeah, if you get a 3 or better, you succeed with style. I actually messed that one up because it should be if you just fail to do it, you get a boost. So if you're trying to create something like if I was that. Want to say something?
Sage said something, but I think she might have been talking to her boyfriend.
She has something. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you get a boost if you I have to look it up again because I'm confused about it's in the little rules that I sent. The way up there because all the pictures. What should you get from a boost? Boost. Page 26. I was going up in the rule book.
So yeah, the boost is like a +1 on your next roll, right?
Yeah, and it was whatever it is you were doing. If you boost it on defending, then you get it versus defending.
And if I like say I smack someone and I'm at 5, they have a 6, I can be like, I'm a knight errant. I'm skilled in combat. I could get like a +2 if I spend one of my refresher points or something, right?
Or fate points, yeah.
Or fate points. Okay. And the way damage works is that each bit of damage is actually a measure of stress, and if I get 3 stress, I get a mild consequence.
You check off boxes based off how much stress you get.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, you can check stress once per like hit, I believe, right?
The rest carries over.
Yeah.
You get hit for 5, you can check your 1 and your 4. You can't go like 2 and 3.
Yeah. And you have to account for damage somewhere.
Yep.
Oh, so if I take 5 damage, I have stress 1, stress 2, and stress 3, I can stress 2 and 3?
No, you can only
No, you can't do that.
You can only do 1 stress per hit.
Yeah. So if you took like 5 damage, you could take like 3 and 2, or 1 and 4, or you know.
No, that's what I mean. So like the amount of damage correlates to like I add up the numbers for my stress boxes, right? Or am I just not understanding?
I'm just saying you can only check one of these boxes per hit down here. That's all you need to know.
Oh, okay.
And the rest has to go to somewhere over here.
Oh.
These account for that much damage. So this one counts for 1, this one counts for 2, and this one counts for 3. So if you got hit for 2, you can check this.
I was looking at the sheet, my bad.
Yeah, if you take 2, you can check this. If you take 1, you should check this. If you take 3, you should check this. Now the problem is, if you take 1, you check this, and then you take 1 again, you have to check this one pretty much because you already checked that one. So you're basically taking extra damage because
So how do consequences get calculated and stuff?
They become aspects on you that the person that put them on you gets to use once for free, and then anyone else can use them by using a fate point. The 2 goes away at the end of the fight, just like your these go. This goes away at the end of the session, and this goes away at the end of the session. You have medical help pretty much to fix it.
Oh, okay. So if someone does a 6 on me, I can either just put 6 damage on me. I could put that 6 in the 6th thing for 4 and 2.
Yeah.
And if I have it on the 6th thing, that's a severe consequence
Yes.
that goes on for the entire thing.
Until you get medical help.
Yeah, and 4 and 2, it's a mild and moderate consequence that goes on for the session and stuff.
And the 4 goes the rest of the session. The 2 goes away at the end of the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know everything I need to about Fate.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. It just requires people to pay attention. And yeah.
Anyway, we go and play Fate, and I go, Spike, how do I play Fate again?
Yeah.
But, boys.
Keep looking
So
for
yeah,
books.
we don't need to know anything else, right?
I posted a bunch of rules in there to know like the more stuff like how to activate things and how to do things. Yeah, for the most part, you're fine.
All right. Well, I'm heading off. See you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figure out how
Right.
boost work.